All right, here we go. Welcome in to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's Design District. We do this every day, around about 12 o'clock, noonish. Hold on, let me get the chat room going. Chat room's important. We enjoy the chat room, people. I do this show every day, Monday through Friday at noon. It's hot topics, current events, trends, whatever it is people are talking about. I will give it to you in a stream of consciousness performance for the ages. At least that's how I tell it. Come on, chat room. Do we have anybody in the chat room yet? I know it's weird. This is a show that relies on habits. We are all out of habits. It's that crazy dead week of the year between Christmas and New Year's where absolutely nothing gets done. But we're here. That's right. You know why we're here? Because I took 2 days after Christmas off. All right, so sue me. I took 2 days after Christmas off. I didn't do shows on Friday and Saturday. I had to come back today. There's just too much going on. What is going on with my screen? Hold on. What's that say? This screen is currently deactivated. Please. What the? I don't care about that. What's this? Here's what I like. I found this earlier today. I like this as our background. I'm going to show you why I like it as our background. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Here's why I like it as our background. Trains! Trains are cool. I like trains. Look at the train. This whole video starts with us. It's like we're doing the show live from the sides of train tracks there in, I don't know, what is that, Bedford Falls? I'm going with that's Bedford Falls, New York. Hi, Barney. Barney's here. Jeff's here. Peter's here. Taranda's here. The sports bras are here. And it's a good thing the sports bras are here because our executive producer is Cece. Cece, very nice. Merry Christmas. Now, Merry Christmas to you, dude. That was unnecessary, but thank you so much. Our executive producer is someone who I designate the most important person of the show. That is because on the previous show, they tipped the most, and that's how this show runs. This show does not seek advertising. It does not, well, I wouldn't say we don't seek it. I mean, I'd love to have like somebody that I'd be like, yeah, that's a good product that I'll talk about for money, but I'm too, and it's not going to work because my heart's not going to be, look, I can sell people anything. I'm a great salesperson. I am, but I got one thing about me being a great salesperson. I got to 100% believe in the product. If I don't believe in the product, forget about it. I can't do the whole you totally need an entire pallet of paper towel. I can't do that. I can't sell people on shit they don't actually need. But if it's something I think they need or if it's something I'm excited about, I can do that. So I can sell. Don't get me wrong. But we don't have any advertisers. Why? Probably because there's nobody interested in advertising on a show that's been on for 3 years and, has a very loyal, which I can't say enough about our audience. Every single day you're here. So thank you. That's why I'm here. And today, the executive producer is Cece in the Sports Bras podcast. Coming to Radio Misfits Dallas. It's going to be our debut sports offering. Just got to work everything out. First of the year, where things are happening. I promise. But that was nice of Cece to drop a tip. Also need to thank Peter and Jeff. Peter and Jeff, man. Thank you, boys. Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas to everybody. I haven't really talked since Christmas. Had the boy. I had the 15-year-old boy. We had a funny incident last night. The 15-year-old boy's an absolute slob. So, Mom is taking this opportunity that he's gone to clean his room. And we've got a family group text, right? Where, anybody who's got complaints about the boy can basically put it in there. And then the boy has to respond in the group text. It's kind of fun. I enjoy it. So last night I get a text from Mom. Mom's like, hey, this is what the text. I'll read you the text. I don't want to open my phone. Basically, the text says this. Went up to clean Mason's room. That's the boy's name, if you don't know. Went up to clean Mason's room and was going through his athletic bags, and there was just trash everywhere. And the most interesting thing was I found a cigarette butt. Cigarette butt. Mom was not concerned. She wasn't concerned. It was funny, and we kind of laughed because look, of all the things that master criminal, he's a master criminal. He is going to be a master criminal. Of all of the things, if he channels the energy in that direction, we've got another Sam Bankman-Fried is what I'm hoping for. Because here's what I know. Before Sam Bankman-Fried went to jail, I'm sure his dad went to a lot of nice steak dinners. So I need some of those. Anyway, beside the point. So mom finds a cigarette butt. And now remember, the boy is with me. Now he's somewhere else. I don't even know where he is, but he's chiming in. He's probably downstairs. And he's chiming in on the texts and stuff. And I'm in another room and I'm chiming in. And so here's what I think. Because you don't even have to ask him. Like, do you smoke? You're not smoking, are you? And why do you put a cigarette butt in your gym bag or what, Like, it doesn't line up. First of all, can we just say this? My kid's pretty cool, okay? But he's not 2024 teenager smoking cool, because that is like the coolest brand of teenager that there is. A 2024 teenager who still smokes old-timey cigarettes, that dude is cool. That dude has like the soul of Steve McQueen. He's 13 hanging out in front of the 7-Eleven in Garland, just smoking a real cigarette. My point is this, nobody smokes real cigarettes. So what I think what he said, he's like, people throw shit in my bag all the time. We fuck with each other. It's what boys do. And I'm like, it is what boys do. Like, I can totally see if the kid left his gym bag open, and I might empty out a trash can in his gym bag. That's something that I would do. So, I mean, I can see that. What I can't see is that him being like the only teenager who is smoking cigarettes. I think it's just trash. But mom's cool. Mom was like, hey, it's on the radar now. Or actually, I said that. I said, hey, you know what? Nobody thinks you're smoking because you never smell like cigarettes. That's something you can't hide, especially now that parents don't smoke. Like, I bet you that back when parents all chain smoked constantly, the 15-year-old could smoke behind the garage and then come into the house and just totally not be, would blend in. Because dad ain't like, who smells like cigarettes? Well, mom smoked 2 packs already, so maybe her, right? We don't have that anymore. Parents don't smoke. A teenage kid smokes an old-timey cigarette and he walks into the house, you're going to be like, you just smoked a cigarette. People who don't smoke, and nobody smokes anymore, can tell. So we never had that. Like, he didn't smell like smoke. Besides, like he said, he's like, if I was going to get addicted to nicotine, it would be those Zyn packs, like the things that I use. He's like, or vapes. And I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, cigarette's too much work. I'm like, yeah, it is. A cigarette is too much work. Because I don't want that. Because I don't want to be And I know that he's not like, okay, so here's something. Nope, not going to tell this story. Never mind. I was going to say, I know that he's not like a closet addict or anything because, well, I'll say this. I had access to a bottle, very expensive here at the studio. We're at the studio. Access to a very expensive bottle of tequila. Like, it's like a bottle of tequila that's like, I don't know. They say it's like $500 a shot if you order it in a bar. It's like $300 at Binion's or wherever you go to get your, wine and spirits. But in bars, like, it's super expensive. So anyway, they have a bottle of this and I looked at it and it was already opened and I'm like, huh. And I smell it. And I never had this. And my 15-year-old kid is with me. I'm like, this is like, that's super exclusive. I go, you want to taste it? And so like, I had like a little teaspoon and I put like a little like of this like $300 vodka, a little bit on the teaspoon. And I went, and I'm like, ugh, okay. And I offered to my 15-year-old kid. I go, you want to taste it? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, all right. So, he's not into like drugs or getting high or anything like that. He's into Madden. He's into Madden and gift cards. That's what my kid is into, gift cards. He is gift card Elon Musk right now. He's swimming in a mountain of gift cards. Because he's surrounded by grown-ups who just don't have the time or really the thoughtfulness to buy him things. Nah, I'm kidding. He prefers money. He's like, look, don't think you know me. Don't think that this is what I'm going to like. These are his words. Don't think that you know me, okay? Just give me the cash, and then I'll buy shit that I really love, and I'll tell you about how much I love the shit that I bought with the cash that you gave me. Hope your Christmas was good. What do you say we get started with the show? It is The Rant. I am Pugs Moran. My job here is to give you everything that people are talking about in the world, and we've got a wang-dang-dilly of a show. As I say, performed in a stream of consciousness. It will unfold before your very eyes and ears in 4 distinct segments. Quarters for the football fans out there. First quarter, we call it Antecedently on This Day. Get out of here! Get out of here! Oh, for fuck's sake! We got breaking news. We got breaking news. This is also what happens, breaking news. Linda Lavin's dead. Linda Lavin! Alice. We'll talk about that later. Which just came across the wires here. And by wires, I mean the YouTube free stream that gives me all the breaking news. Linda Lavin, she played Alice. She was an actress. We'll talk about that coming up. Okay, the show unfolds in 4 quarters. 4 quarters, because as I say, it's a stream of consciousness, and I need to keep the train on the tracks in some way, so the 4 quarters work to keep me on pace. Okay, first quarter, we call that Antecedently on This Day. That's where we take a look back at some of the events that have helped shape this day throughout history. Quarter 2 is birthdays. I think you know what that is. Quarter 3. Can't count. Quarter 3 is deads. It's the opposite of birthdays. Quarter 3. Quarter 2. Well, see, look at me. I feel like we're behind the 8 ball. I feel like we're late, so I'm rambling. Quarter 1 is history. Quarter 2 is people who were born on this day. Quarter 3 is people who died on this day. But we do it a little differently. We like to decide, okay, this person, they were famous. They died on this day. Where'd they go? Heaven or hell? That's right. Quarter 3. We sit in judgment. Quarter 4 is all the hot topics, current events, trends, and all the stuff that's happening. We're going to get into some pretty provocative subject matter today because although we don't do politics, I do have a lot of shitty opinions. So you might not like my shitty opinions. It's okay. Sometimes I don't like your shitty opinions. But the thing about this show is that we tolerate people's shitty opinions. And we don't, we're not like, you can't come to Thanksgiving because of your shitty opinion. Because most of my shitty opinions are never going to be politics. I don't want to do politics on this show. All right, what do you say we get started? Let's do quarter 1. We'll just get started with quarter 1, okay? It is the rant for the 30th day of December. Year of our Lord 2024. It is the 365th day of the year. But Pugs, how can that be? There's one more day. Well, leap year. It was a leap year. We had a leap year this year, so we got an extra day. Today is the 365th day of the year. It says here, I'll have to check my math. There's only one day remaining until the year 2025. Just trying to stay alive in 2025. Time to thrive. 2025 lends itself to a lot of good branding. 2025, it's great to be alive. I mean, it just 2024. My God, was that a bore? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. We're going to do the show tomorrow where we talk about 2024, where I'm going to go through all the big stories and we're going to revisit some of the things, because one of the great advantages to doing this show every day is that I have a list that goes back from January 1st, 2024 of all the big stories that we were talking about. So tomorrow's show, we will delve a little bit into whatever major breaking news is happening, but mostly a special spectacular will be performed for. It's just going to be me doing story. Hey, it's just me. Tomorrow's going to be me going, hey guys, remember in March when this happened? It'll be shit like that. Yeah, shit like that. We'll do dead people tomorrow. We'll be like, here's the people who died. It'll be a big one. It'll be the dead people of 2024. An in memoriam, if you will. Maybe I'll just play an in memoriam reel behind me. And I'll just point at things. That's my favorite part of award shows, when they show the in memoriam. I don't think they do it anymore because it was getting too weird. But, like at the Oscars when they go, now we're going to look at pictures of everybody who's ever been even tangentially associated with the film world who died last year. And then they show a bunch of screen editors and they show a bunch of wardrobe people and then they show a big star. It's always my favorite part. It's like they'll show like Bernie Feldstein. He ran the props department at Universal. Margaret Sullivan. She was the chief dressmaker at Paramount in the 1950s. Lucille Ball. Yeah! We care about her death! She's the one we care about! It's like there's silence. It's like nobody applauds for the people. It's like, fuck them. Fuck that wardrobe. Milton Berle. Oh my God. That was always my favorite part of award show. So we'll do that. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll go through a list of people who died in 2024. And quite frankly, we'll ask the question nobody else is asking. Do we give a fuck? That's tomorrow on the show. All right, what do you say we get started with today's show? Antecedently on this day, a look back at the history is how we get things started. So let's do that here. Antecedently on this day, ladies and gentlemen, a big day in history. Antecedently on this day in 1813, the War of 1812, which spilled over into 1813 apparently. 1813 on this day, British soldiers burn Buffalo, New York. I had to cough. What? I never heard this story before. You never heard this story. But Buffalo, unless you live in Buffalo, New York, this is like one of them things. Another American city burned to the ground. And yet somehow I grow up in Chicago thinking, my city burned down and that's what makes us cool. Turns out every fucking city in the world has burned down. Some of them 4 and 5 times. Just talk to the people of London. Their city has burned multiple times. Anyway, Buffalo burned on this day in 1812. On this day in 1903, antecedently, as they say, a fire at the Iroquois Theater in Chicago, Illinois kills. Are you ready for this number? Are you ready for this 1903 death count? Jesus, people died. More than half of these people would have survived if this had happened in 2024. But back in 1903, no fire escapes, no sprinklers, no fire departments. 605 people died in the Iroquois Theater. Most of them got trampled. Here's what happened. They were doing a stupid play and a lantern fell and broke and caught a curtain on fire. And then they had a fire suppression system, but it was a 1903 fire suppression system. So guess what? Didn't work. And everybody died. 600. Just to put it in perspective, how big this theater fire was. It happened in 1903. 605 people died at the Iroquois Theater. 605. It happened in 1903. It is still the second greatest single loss of life in an American structure ever. Number one, 9/11. Until 9/11, until 2,000 people died in the World Trade Center, the 605 people who died in the Iroquois Theater in Chicago was the largest death count ever from a building fire or a building. And it's something in the history of like American firefighting. It's like something like the pivotal event that changed American firefighting. On this day in 1903, on this day in 1916, Russian mystic and advisor to the Tsar Grigory Yevgrafovich. Russian mystic and advisor to the Tsar. I'm going to try and pronounce this name. I'm going to take a first pass at it. I know the last name. The last name's easy. It's Rasputin. Grigory is easy. I can do that. It's the names in the middle. Russian mystic on this day in 1916 and advisor to the Tsar, Grigory Yefimovich Vladimir Rasputin. There you go. I think I fucking nailed it. I nailed that. He's murdered. He got murdered today. He screwed everything up. Rasputin was not a good dude. I'm a kind of a fan, a hobbyist of Russian history. Rasputin is a fascinating guy, and there are versions of Rasputin that still exist. Wherever you find generationally wealthy elitist families, there is always some stray, some advisor, some yogi, some spiritual mentor. There's always something, and Rasputin is like the most famous of all time. He took down an entire empire. On this day in 1916, Rasputin was killed and found 3 days later in the frozen Petrograd River. On this day in 1916, Rasputin died, killed, murdered. On this day in 2006, former Iraqi President Saddam Hussein is executed. Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. Let's do some birthdays. Quarter 2 birthdays. These are people who were born on this day. I don't know if they were really born on this day. I didn't talk to their moms. But these are the published reports. Born on this day, 1928. American singer-songwriter and guitarist Bo Diddley. I say, hey, Bo Diddley. Bo Diddley's greatest guitar player. Shut up. Bo Diddley. I'm playing on a cigar box with fishing line. I'm the best. Bo Diddley's fine. I always get into these people, they have their favorite guitar players. And that's how you need to explain it. You need to frame it as your favorite guitar players. Bo Diddley was a terrific guitar player, a legendary guitar player. But it's like when you get into things like, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? You know, it's like there's too many moving parts. When people are like, Eddie Van Halen is the greatest guitarist of all time. I'm like, dude, have you any idea how many great guitar players there have been? Is there a number one greatest? Probably not. Probably not. There's probably no way. I mean, unless you were to boil down guitar playing to one skill set. Fastest guitar player. Okay, that might be something you could track. But it's art. And there are so many people who are good at playing guitar. You can walk in Texas, you can walk into any roadhouse on any given Thursday through Sunday evening and find some dude who can shred guitar at the very same level of all of these guys who you hang posters of on your walls. And you can see a guy at a local bar who's as good as Jimmy Page. No, you can't. Yes, you can. Millions and millions of people play guitar. I had a friend named Gary who was a blues guitar player. He ran a music studio. Gary was sought out by, nobody knew who Gary was. Well, Gary was in REO Speedwagon for a period of time, but back just as they got big, took his money and bought a recording studio, which is pretty cool. He's like, yeah, I don't think this band is going anywhere, but that first album was really big, so I'm going to punch out. I'm going to buy a recording studio. And anyway, he was a terrific blues guitar player. I rank him as one of the greatest guitar players. I rank him as one of, by the way, some of you might remember I used to do a podcast with him. We used to do a TV podcast because he loved TV as much as I did. Anyway, he could play guitar as well as anybody that I've ever seen. And I'm always like, man, this is like what I always say. It's not about, he is obviously more talented than the other person. No, man, it's about a whole combination of things. You say you need the talent, but you also need the break. You need to be discovered. You need to be in the right place at the right time. You need to sign up for the right cattle call. You need to do the right audition. There is so much more. The greatest opera singer in the world, or someone who's like, would be, because again, you can't really say they're the greatest, but someone who would be considered to be one of the great vocalists of all time is probably cleaning your house somewhere. She's your maid, and she just never got the chance to sing. You don't think that's true? That's Susan Boyle. You guys remember Susan Boyle? So talent is not only subjective, but it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. So Bo Diddley, born on this day, great guitar player. Yeah, absolutely. The best? I don't know. If you were to sit here and name your 5 favorite guitar player, would Bo Diddley make the list? He's the greatest. Okay, make your list. Does he make your list? Because you're going to leave a lot of people off, okay? I've made a list. Here we go. My favorite guitar players. And again, this is how you got to say it. You got to say it as your favorite because this is art. This is just the way it affects you, okay? Here is my list. Number 1, my favorite guitar player, my favorite guitar soloist. He played with warmth. He played with fury. He played with a legitimate blues style, a rock and roll blues style at a time when, Clapton was considered the height of that, or, Jeff Beck or whatever. No. I am telling you, my favorite guitar player of all time is someone you've never heard of, and his name is Terry Kath. Terry Kath is number 1. Terry Kath was the lead guitar player for the band Chicago back in their early days because he played Russian roulette with a gun and killed himself while high at a party in 1975. So Terry Kath, one of the most incredible guitar. Here, let me give you an example of my number one, just because I know I'm not going to show examples of everybody, but I'll show you an example of Terry Kath. And here's why. Because I think most people don't really understand. This was, by the way, Terry Kath was Jimi Hendrix's favorite guitar player. Jimi Hendrix saw Terry Kath and said, that's my favorite guitar player on the planet. And that's how the band CTA, which is what they were called, Chicago Transit Authority, that's how they got their break, because Jimi Hendrix let them open. Jimi Hendrix like, no. You got to see this guitar player. All right, so what are they calling this? They're calling this the greatest guitar solo ever caught on film. Here is Terry Kath. Hold on. A guitar player you may not know, but he is my favorite guitar player of all time, okay? This is one of his great solos. Let's hear it. Typical bluesman style. He's just going to take his sweet time. Here we go. Incidentally, this is my favorite guitar solo of all time. So we know the song. The song is a classic rock staple, but let's get to his solo in this song. That is pretty freaking. Let's see what this is. Hold on. Here you go. He is just one happy player. It goes on for like another 4 minutes. He's amazing. Terry Kath, number one in my favorite guitar player list. Number two, and this is because I'm Gen X, and I will fist fight anybody who says this isn't the greatest of his style guitar player of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, number two on my list of favorite guitar players, Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen. I didn't give a shit about guitars until I saw Eddie Van Halen around about 1982, 1983, and I went, oh, wait a second. Number two on my list of favorite guitar players, Eddie Van Halen. Number three on my list of favorite guitar players, a guy who, I don't know, I think this is the guy who is like of that level of like, you know, the kind of guitar player that makes rock and roll Hall of Famers put their shit down, sit down, and just watch. I have never had really close access to anyone other than this guy. I've seen this guy play from like 3 feet away and just watched him. And I've seen this guy do it at 70 years old, which is even more incredible. Number three on my favorite guitar players, the great Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy. Arguably the greatest blues guitar player of all time. I mean, there's certainly a lot of people to have in that conversation. Buddy Guy, number 3. I'm not going to have that argument right now, but Buddy Guy, number 3. Number 4 on my favorite guitar players. Remember, this is favorite guitar player. I love this man's guitar playing. There is one of the things about being a guitar player is that so many people do it. You've got to find a way to be unique. You got to find a way to have a sound that other people don't know. If you are a guitar player who the minute you plug in and start playing, people go, oh, I know who that is. You've done something. And that is certainly what this person does. Nobody plays guitar like this person. Some people think Eric Clapton plays guitar like this person. But no, because it was actually this person playing on Eric Clapton albums, George Harrison. George Harrison is my number 4 favorite guitar player. Tell me there's not a George Harrison sound. Tell me that that's not a real thing. All right, there are multiple stages to the George Harrison sound. One of my favorites is the early jingle jangle garage rock sound. That was a very sort of cling, 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 cling sort of George Harrison. But then he found the warmth of modulation, especially in his solo stuff. Oh my God. That guitar solo from what's a George Harrison. Talk about a guitar player who evolved before our very eyes. Incredible. Incredibly underrated, too. And I think he's underrated because he's a Beatle. I think people are already like, when they want to talk about super important guitar players, they don't necessarily give George Harrison credit because he's already a Beatle. You know, it's like, yeah, everybody but Beatles. All right, we're going to talk about music, but nobody mentioned a Beatle. It's like whenever lists of like the greatest songwriters get mentioned and somehow Lennon and McCartney don't make it. How? What? No, Janis Ian 17 was better than anything John Lennon ever did. Oh, fuck you, Rolling Stone. Are you out of your mind? George Harrison, number 4. All right. Once again, my list of favorite guitar players on this Bo Diddley's birthday. Bo Diddley, born on this day in 1928. Number 1 was Terry Kath. Number 2 was Eddie Van Halen. Number 3 was Buddy Guy. Number 4 is George Harrison. And number 5, I just talked about him last week. He is a guy who took George Harrison. He's a guy who loves George Harrison. He took George Harrison, especially the early Beatles stuff, and started playing and tuning and playing like that and created his own sound. You know when Peter Buck of REM is playing lead guitar. Peter Buck of REM, my 5th favorite guitar player. There you go. All that for Bo Diddley, born on this day in 1928. Born on this day in 1935, Sandy Koufax, best living baseball player, some might say. I don't include pitchers. He was definitely, I don't even know that he's the best living pitcher. Him and Nolan Ryan we'd have to have some spreadsheets to kind of figure that out. Or maybe not. Maybe there is an obvious difference in records. Sandy Koufax. Here's one thing I do know for sure. Hold on. Let me think about this very quickly. He's better than Julian Edelman, right? The best Jewish athlete ever? Sid Grossman. Sid Luckman. I combined 2 Bear quarterbacks. One very good, one Rex Grossman. All right, whatever. Sandy Koufax, born on this day in 1935. Used to not pitch on Sundays because it was the Sabbath. And yeah. Born on this day in 1940, James Burrows. Ladies and gentlemen, James Burrows. If you're a TV guy like me, you know Jimmy Burrows. That's what the people close to him call him, Jimmy Burrows. James Burrows has been involved in just about every important piece of TV that Norman Lear or Gary Marshall wasn't. Norman Lear, Gary Marshall, Jimmy Burrows. How about, let's see here, Burrows, let's run through some of his shows. Mary Tyler Moore as a director, created Cheers, created Frasier. Let's see, what else? The Bob Newhart Show, created Taxi. Oh yeah, Taxi, Cheers, Frasier. Friends, Will and Grace, Third Rock from the Sun, The Big Bang Theory. Okay, Jimmy Burrows. He's really important. Is he still alive? He is. Good for him. Good for James Burrows. Seriously, think about all the TV you watched in the 80s and how many times you saw the name James Burrows. A lot. Burrows, Cannell, Lear, Marshall, Spelling. That's it. They're responsible for all. Bochco. Did I say Bochco? Did I say? Born on this day in 1940, James Burrows. Born on this day in 1940, Why can't I say 42? There was no reason for me to stumble like that. Born on this day in 1942. Hey, he's a monkey. Michael Nesmith. Joe's mom invented liquid paper. Did you know Mike Nesmith from the Monkees? Did you know his mom? Yeah, everybody knows Mike Nesmith's mom from the Monkees invented liquid paper. Everybody born in like the 1960s or familiar with the Monkees knows about the connection between the Monkees and liquid paper. Mike Nesmith's mom invented liquid paper. Yeah, she did. Pretty cool. She was a secretary here in Dallas. That's right. Mike Nesmith's she was secretary to the guy who was president of the First Bank of Texas. I don't know, it was some like fancy bank. And she was like the executive assistant, the secretary back in those days. You know, getting her ass grabbed and all that kind of stuff. Oh, Mr. Buchanan, I've dropped my pencil. You know, that whole thing. She did that. But she also invented liquid paper, which, you know, probably pretty cool. A secretary. Imagine that. I tell this story because it's badass. She was a secretary. She was just a secretary in 1956, Dallas, Texas. Mike Nesmith's mom working as a secretary, probably a god-awful situation at her home. She mixes up a concoction because she was typing, invented liquid paper, sold it in 1976 for $47 million. Do you know what $47 million in 1976 is? Well, it was 46 million, but by today's standards, probably like $1 billion. I don't know. 100 million. I bet it's like 100 million. So yeah, Mike Nesmith's mom, she invented liquid paper. Used different kinds of paints. She bought a whole bunches of paints and she made it in a blender in her kitchen here in Dallas. Mike Nesmith's mom. Hey, he's a monkey. Born on this day in 1942. I know this is just weird. This is why we do this segment, because, you know, life is just so weird. Born on this day in 1945. Hey, he's a monkey. Davy Jones. That's right. Davy Jones and Mike Nesmith from the Monkees, both born on the exact same day, 3 years apart. Davy Jones's mom invented Dick. Davy Jones's mom ain't done nothing. Winner of the mom battle, Mike Nesmith. Mike Nesmith's mom will move on to face my mom in the mom battle. Mike Nesmith's mom had a good run. She will go down. Born on this day in 1957. Let's talk about this guy. And ladies, I'm gonna do a little speechifying for you. Ladies, I'm gonna do something that, you know, guys, you know, probably don't want me to do, but whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway. Born on this day, celebrating a birthday, 1957, Matt Lauer. Remember that dude? That dude, talk about being ubiquitous. That dude was everywhere. Literally, where in the world is Matt Lauer? He was everywhere. Matt Lauer was like the big primo guy at NBC News. Not a hard news guy, but he was, you know, their handsome, I don't know what he was. The daytime, you know, he could do daytime, he could do fluff, but also if a building blew up in the middle of the Today Show, he could probably handle that for a little while before handing it off to Brokaw. He was very important, Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer was important to NBC. Timing being what timing is, man. Matt Lauer had his career blown up. And I say timing because he was like one of the first, like as the Me Too movement started to like catch some treads and people were like, who else can we get? It was Matt Lauer, who was like one of the first dudes through the gate, and NBC wasn't dicking around. NBC went immediately fired. We're running away from this. This is bad. This Ronan Farrow thing is no bueno. So they cut ties with Matt Lauer almost immediately. They didn't let him do anything. It was just like, what's this? Day 10 of the Me Too movement, and now you're talking about Matt Lauer? He's fired. We're NBC. We care. We believe women, you know, and all that. So Matt Lauer got blown out. And look, Matt Lauer got blown out for doing probably shit that everybody like Matt Lauer has been doing for years. What is that? Hooking up with production assistants while on, you know, world global travels. Do you know, I used to travel a lot in radio. We used to do a lot of traveling. Okay. We're broadcasting live from the Super Bowl, backstage at the Grammys. Hey, we're taking everybody for a week's broadcast to Cancun. You know, that whole thing. We travel a lot in groups, and there's a lot of work people. Okay, a lot of work people that aren't necessarily on the show, but you got promotions people who are going and they're in charge of the listeners. And then you've got the salesperson and he's there with the sponsors. And then there's someone else from men. There's that kind of shit that goes on in these work trips. And I bring this up because he was fired because of a situation that went down in Sochi during the Sochi Olympics. He apparently banged some producer in his hotel room, okay? And, it was called anal rape at the time. Well, that's all NBC needed to hear. They were like, what? I don't think so. And he's married, so that's a whole nother category of issue. Well, he was married. She got the hell out of there. I mean, his life was destroyed. They fired him for cause, which means he got nothing. Jeez, he got nothing. They got out of the Matt Lauer. By the way, it was like, big time NBC, signed in the early 2000s, hundreds of millions. It was a big contract. They got out of it scot-free. So here are the charges. This is what's interesting about Matt Lauer. And again, and I'm going to get to my thing. Remember, I told you, all you ladies, hold on, I got something for you. I'm going to get to that. But okay, I want to talk about Matt Lauer here, because what is Matt Lauer? Is Matt Lauer evil? Is Matt Lauer a monster? Does Matt Lauer deserve to never be on TV again? I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed Matt Lauer. I had never really given it a thought while Matt Lauer was on. Like, I didn't have a hot take on Matt Lauer in 2002. I was just like, yeah, he seems cool. It's like that. Yeah, he seems all right. That was my Matt Lauer take. Now I'm super pro Matt Lauer, because I always assumed that he was out there cheating on his wife. I always assumed that all of these guys, I've been around these people. I have seen people in media with power, and I have been around people who have power without the media attraction, who can also wield that. And most importantly, in the case of Matt Lauer, I have been around extremely attractive men, and I can tell you about them. And I can tell you about Matt Lauer. He is no different than any other man in his position. I don't know about that, Pugs. There are a lot of good men left. Not that look like Matt Lauer, who make that kind of money, who travel around the country, who's famous and have people throwing themselves at them. No. That's a very special situation. So here's what Matt Lauer did. And this is one of my biggest problems with this situation. Matt Lauer, it says here in Catch and Kill, which was Ronan Farrow's book that took down Weinstein. A true monster. Weinstein, that shit's... In Catch and Kill, Farrow reveals one of the alleged victims of Matt Lauer was Brooke Nevels, who says that Lauer anally raped her in his hotel room while the two were in Sochi covering the 2014 Winter Olympics for NBC. That's horrible. That is horrible. So in 2017, Brooke Nevels, a production assistant at NBC, who had traveled to Sochi with Matt Lauer, Brooke Nevels was anally raped in her hotel room by Matt Lauer. Oh, she would go on to date him a few more times, and they had multiple sexual encounters after that one. But in Sochi, he raped her. I mean, it must have been hard for her to put that out of her head, and the other opportunities where she was going out with him and traveling with him and staying in his hotel rooms, that must have been really difficult. My point is this. Is he a dirtbag dude? Yeah, of course he is. He's a good-looking man, and she was probably a hot production assistant, and they were drinking, because that's what happens when you do these trips. You're out there, and you're staying in a hotel room, and you're like, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's go down to the bar. And suddenly you're getting drunk with someone who works in sales. And that's how these things happen. They're not criminal, okay? They're just fuck. But he had power over me. Oh, you wanted to fuck Matt Lauer, lady. I'm sorry, but if you didn't want to fuck Matt Lauer, you didn't have to fuck him. You destroyed the man's career. Let's continue, shall we? In Catch and Kill, Farrell reveals that one of the alleged victims, Brooke Neville, who says Lauer anally raped her in Sochi, covering the Winter Olympics in 2014. Farrell also writes in his book that Neville's had additional sexual encounters with Lauer in the months that followed after the initial incident, which was a terrible, traumatic rape. I mean, she barely orgasmed in the other experiences that followed. That's how traumatic it was for her. 2 weeks after Lauer's firing, Addie Zanone, a former Today production assistant, also made additional accusations, saying that she had a consensual sexual relationship with Lauer in 2000. Zanone claimed that the relationship was an abuse of power on Lauer's part because Zanone said that she felt that turning Lauer's advances down would have hurt her career. Well, apparently she was just banging Matt Lauer and she didn't get promotion, so now she's claiming that... See, that's the nonsense here. If sleeping with Matt Lauer had led to a corner office where she's like the executive producer of Dateline now because 5 years ago she was sleeping with Matt Lauer, that would be one thing, but she wouldn't complain about that, see? But what happened was her career didn't take off. She slept with Matt Lauer, career didn't take off. 14 years later, she's going to be like, yeah, I had a consensual relationship with him and it was an abuse of power. That's fucking bullshit. By any standard, that is bullshit. If it was an abuse of power, you should have gone and reported it back then. Did you? No? Oh. But I was afraid. The world is tough. There's a lot of scary shit. I'm tired of pussies being afraid of everything. This should not... And I don't know why I'm sitting here carrying water from Matt Lauer, other than he's a guy who is probably a Lothario. That's a guy who swings his dick at anything. He's probably bullshit. He gets on TV. Hi, I'm Matt Lauer. Y'all like me. I look totally non-threatening. And then at the office Christmas party, he's like, I got a hotel room here, baby. He's that guy. But if you're shocked that that's that guy, if you're like, what? He's what? He must be fired. If you're shocked by that, you're an idiot because they're all that guy. Which brings me to my point, ladies. All right, good. We've got all the ladies around here. Good. Come together here. Is your husband hot? Is he? And don't, look, ladies, 95% of you out here, your husbands aren't hot, okay? I know. He's hot to you. That's lovely. That's lovely. That's why it works. He's hot to me. Is your fucking husband Ryan Reynolds? Okay? Is your husband Ryan Reynolds? Is he the hottest fucking guy at work? Is he the hottest? Because if he is, ladies, he's cheating on you. He is. I'm sorry. Or he's retarded. This is the thing. There are some like really attractive men who are like on the spectrum and too stupid to know that they can, and they're not really. So they're good. But that is such a rare occurrence. Ladies, if your husband is hot, he's sleeping. If your husband, here's another thing, ladies. Oh, here's one you are not going to want to hear. Ladies, if your husband is hot and you're also hot, or more to the point, used to be hot when you guys first got together. Ladies, if your husband is hot and you used to be hot and your friends are hot, your husband has fucked one of your friends. I'm just telling you, it's a big secret and most people know, but you do not. Ladies. And fuck you, handsome guys who are like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I'm a good handsome man. No, you're not, dude. No, you're not. You are as loyal. Men, sexually speaking, are as loyal as their opportunities. The absolute worst relationship, ladies, that you can be in is in a relationship with a handsome man. If fidelity and monogamy is the number one most important thing in your relationship. If it's not, if you're just like, my husband's hot and he bangs me out and then he's got secretaries on the side and I don't care. If you're okay with that, cool. Not a problem. I'm just telling you, ladies, if your husband's handsome, and again, most of you don't have to worry about this. Most of you don't have handsome husbands. Ladies, if your husband has abs, he's cheating on you. Sorry. He just is. You can't help it. I have a friend, and I will not mention his name because he may, in fact, be in the chat room. You know who you are. Call you K. He's very handsome. He is very handsome. And he's also an incredibly nice person, like an incredibly kind and thoughtful person. He is incapable of being faithful to a woman. Absolutely incapable. Like, he can be just totally in love with her and, oh my God, she's going to kill me if she finds out. But he will fuck what is available. And a lot of shit is available when you're a handsome man. Okay, I'm just telling you. All right, there we go. Barney says I must be one of those retarded hot guys. Barney, I got some good news and some bad news for you. One, Barney, you are absolutely not retarded. Now for the bad news. You're also not handsome. Barney, cut it out. You, me, Byron, Jeff, Adam, trying to think of who else we got. Peter, who else we got? Cece. We're all fucking train wrecks of masculinity. Stop acting. No, my ego tells me we're all fat. We all probably taking medication for shit that we didn't pay attention to the last 30 years of our life. None of us are hot. I do have a friend who thinks he's hot, but I'm always there to tell him you're not hot. You're not hot. What you know what you are. Here's the thing, ladies. Also, don't get confused. There is a difference between being super confident and being actually hot. There are a lot of dudes out there who are like, I'm hot. And I'm like, no, you're just super confident. You're just super confident. You're not hot. Super confident. It's not the same thing. Women, you got to work. Your charisma. You got to work. Super hot guys walk into a room and they can sit. You know who has sex on airplanes? Hot people. I'm telling you, it's just something I've noticed. Adam's like, I'm not only hot, I have abs now. Again, bad news for you, Adam. You're not hot. You look great. I also don't think you have abs yet, but if you do, I think that's wonderful. You're just not hot. All right, Matt Lauer. We ran him out of town, but that's okay. Nobody's holding any bake sales for Matt Lauer. The guy's sitting on a pile of about $100 million. He's going to do independent productions, but let's not kid ourselves. He was not a monster of a man, any different than we've been. Do we just pretend like these people do we just pretend like Johnny Carson didn't get like 20 DUIs and have like 5 marriages and was arrested multiple times for domestic dispute? Are we seriously just going to pretend that shit didn't happen? We got to run Matt Lauer out of a career because he hooked up with a production assistant while drunk in a hotel bar during the Olympics in 2014? Fuck! Harvey Weinstein actually raped people, like held them down and tortured them, and with verbal confirmation said, I will kill your career. It's just born on this day in 1959. Happy birthday, Tracy Ullman. I like Tracy Ullman. Tracy Ullman used to be funny. I don't love Tracy Ullman. I don't think she's a genius the way a lot of people do. I think she's terrific at characters. Tracy Ullman would have been a great Saturday Night Live person in if Saturday Night Live, in the 1980s, they should have put Tracy Ullman on. Like a 27, 28-year-old Tracy Ullman, she would have been amazing on that show. They've still never had a foreigner on Saturday Night Live. What's going on, Saturday Night Live? Why no foreigners? Has there ever been an English person on Saturday Night Live? Hosts, of course, but I don't know. Anyway, Tracy Ullman, say what you will about her. There would be no Simpsons without Tracy Ullman. Tracy Ullman is the person who was so bedazzled by this little short Simpsons cartoons that she saw. She demanded that they be used as into commercial bumpers for her Tracy Ullman show on Fox. And of course, people loved them. And then, within a couple of weeks, suddenly there's a Simpsons series. So Tracy Ullman, happy birthday. Thank you for The Simpsons. Born on this day in 1959. Born on this day in 1961, Sean Hannity. He, of course, of Fox News. Sean Hannity's engaged to that Ainsley Earhart. That's right. They're banging. You got the Sean Hannity. I was wondering, remember the other day I was talking about Fox and Friends? Is she the chick on Fox and Friends, or have they rotated her out yet? Have they menudoed her out yet? Crow's feet. I think that's what it is, right? When high def can pick up a crow's foot, you got to go. You're no longer allowed to be the hot blonde in between two sweaty weird guys on the Fox morning show. Anyway, Sean Hannity just got engaged to that chick, whatever. I don't know. Happy birthday. How about this? 2 birthdays in a row here. This is 2 Titans. Born on this day in we'll start with this one. Born on this day in 1965. Speaking of horse, Heidi Fleiss. It's American. Well, that's interesting. It just says American procurer. She was a madam. She was the Hollywood madam. She had prostitutes, and Charlie Sheen liked her. Or her prostitutes, more to the point, I guess. Born on this day in 65, Heidi Fleiss. Born on this day in 1975, the greatest golfer of all time. Let it be said, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, born on this day in 1975. You know who was born 9 years later? LeBron James. That's weird. There's some GOAT DNA around here. Although LeBron James is not the GOAT. I'm sorry. Don't be stupid. But still incredible. Tiger Woods and LeBron James share a birthday. That is fascinating. All right, let's go. Let's do the deads now. Let's go to quarter three. These are the people who've died on this day, people who've died. These are the folks that we're going to decide upon their passing on this very day in history. Where did they go? Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? Let's do the deads. See who we got here. Ooh, dead on this day in 1970, Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston. One of the great heavyweights of all time. Nobody ever remembers Sonny Liston. You know, the real boxing people like Ring Magazine and shit like that, they all got him rated at like 3, 2. Some say he's the greatest, most powerful heavyweight of all time. Sonny Liston, the Bear. Oh, he was a bear of a man. Liston beats Patterson. He beat Patterson twice. He beat Floyd Patterson. Beat Floyd Patterson once and shocked the world because Floyd Patterson was thought to be unbeatable. You know, when they talk about the great heavyweights of all time and like Sonny Liston comes in at 3, usually in that area is also Floyd Patterson. So that's when heavyweight boxing was at its apex. You know, we grew up in eras, if you're Gen X like me, I grew up in an era in heavyweight boxing where they only allowed one guy to be dominant. And then they would split off into like multiple different, there was like 15 different boxing, there were 15 different heavyweight champions, right? It's like, what? That's why I got into MMA, because I was like, boxing is no fun anymore. Back in the days of Sonny Liston, dead on this day in 1970, boxing was fun. Here's the problem with Sonny Liston and why I'm putting him in hell. Yeah, I'm putting him in hell. He was a bear. He was gigantic. Was he like 6? God, he was just a gigantic man. Here's the problem. He fought Ali. Ali was supposed to get his ass kicked, like Cassius Clay. I guess it was Cassius Clay. So Sonny Liston was a huge favorite over Ali, and Ali beat him. And then there was a rematch, or that was when Liston quit on the stool. Sonny Liston is in Miami. Sonny Liston did not come out for the round. He claimed that he had overtrained and that he didn't take Cassius Clay seriously. And because nobody was taking Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay seriously. And he was a bit of a drunk and he had been champion for a while and he was soft and all that. So Cassius Clay, you know, stunned the world. Down goes Liston. I know that's Frazier, but they probably said it for Liston as well. No, because he didn't come out. That's right. They didn't say that. They did say it in the second fight. Sonny Liston in the second fight against Ali. First round KO. Ali just cleaned Liston out in the first round. And here's why he's going to hell. Because he took a huge dive. Sonny Liston was one of them mobbed up boxers. Sonny Liston, those Ali fights between Ali or Cassius Clay and Sonny Liston are considered to be some of the shadiest heavyweight fights in history. Sonny Liston went to hell. Absolutely, he did. Dead on this day in 1970. Dead on this day in 2006. We're going to preemptively put this son of a bitch in hell. Saddam Hussein on this day dies, putting him in hell. Dead on this day in 2015. I'm going to put him in heaven because he's one of my favorite people. My grandpa used to tell me about this son of a bitch, and that's what he used to call his son of a bitch. Let me tell you something about this son of a bitch. Dead on this day in 2015, Doug Atkins. Do you guys know who Doug Atkins is? The world know who the great Doug Atkins? No. You know, Chicago Bears, he's a bear. He's one of the greats. He's one of the great defensive ends of all time. Bill Belichick calls him the greatest defensive end of all time. He revolutionized the position back in the 1960s. He played on the same team as guys like can't say Dick Butkus. He played with Butkus on the same defense, but he was the star. Atkins was the monster. Here's the thing about Atkins, though. He wasn't a talker. Doug Atkins wasn't like, you know, he was quiet. He was from the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. He was dominant. 6 foot 8 inches. 175 pounds. Now you're saying, Pugs, that ain't that crazy. Well, it's not that crazy by 2024 NFL standards. But let me tell you, by 1961 standards, when an average left tackle in the NFL was running about 6'1", 6'2", 260, 270, if you're a defensive end coming off the edge at 6'8", 275, Yeah, that's quite a thing. Here, let's watch a little bit of this. These are some Doug Atkins highlights. Just a little bit. I won't bore you with it, but we should get an idea of how dominant this guy most people have never heard of actually was in his time.
Doug Atkins, 6'8", 200.
Oh, this is from all right, I guess this is just a clip. So this is from Bill Belichick when Bill Belichick named him like his favorite defensive player of all time. Anyway, Doug Atkins, you'll hear Belichick talk a little about him.
157 pounds, played defensive end. Doug Atkins, 6'8", 257 pounds.
75.
Played 17 seasons at defensive end and helped lead the Bears to an NFL championship in 1963. Those are two fearsome defenders, Coach.
You know, Doug Atkins played defensive right end, and his length at 6'8" was a lot in those days. It's a lot now, but he's especially big in those days, and he was very athletic. Guys would try to cut block him, and he just kind of stepped over them. It wasn't any problem at all. He was a very good pass rusher.
Let me tell you this. I was watching some Doug Atkins highlights this morning, and I won't bore you with them. I just wanted to give you a little taste of his ferocity. I was watching some Doug Atkins highlights earlier today on YouTube, and they're great, and they're fun to watch. I can't wait to show them to my son. I'm going to put them up on the big screen on YouTube at home, and I'll let my son watch this. Here's why it's so fun to watch. Because every single highlight, every single Doug Atkins highlight play is currently a fine or a penalty or there'd be a flag. He was grabbing people by the face mask and just throwing them into the ground, and they weren't throwing any flags. Different time. Anyway, Doug Atkins, one of my grandpa's favorite football players of all time, and because of this, one of mine. All right, let's see here. Dead on this day, I'm putting him in heaven. Dead on this day in 2020, I'm putting her in heaven. Dawn Wells. Dawn Wells. She was Marianne from the I always say this about Marianne from Gilligan's Island. Doing radio as long as I have throughout the 90s and stuff. The Gilligan's Island crew, they used to do all the Comic-Cons and all that stuff. So they'd come to town. You'd be like, hey, you guys want to talk to Marianne from Gilligan's Island? Be like, yeah, man, let's get Marianne in here. Let's see how she's holding up. Here's what I always loved about Marianne, Dawn Wells. 100% committed to the bit, dude. 100% committed to the bit. We had a dude who was Bozo come in once. We had Bozo in, and I was very excited because I'm like, talk about a Chicago institution. Bozo? Whew, Bozo's coming in. I get to meet and hang out with Bozo today. Fucking Bozo shows up out of uniform. He's just a dude. He's just a dude in a t-shirt and khakis. You ain't Bozo. That always made me mad. I was like, when I booked Bozo, I wanted the full makeup. I wanted Bozo. I wanted a picture with Bozo. I get a picture with you, some dude. You look like a car salesman. Anyway, Marianne always showed up as Marianne. Didn't matter if she was like 80 years old. Marianne is showing up dressed as she's into the bit. It's got the little, red and white checkered shirt, and it's tied into like a Daisy Duke thing. She was awesome. We're putting her in heaven. Dawn Wells. Marianne. She always delivered. When you book Marianne, you want Marianne. If I book Gilligan, it better be some dude in a crazy hat, right? Bob Denver shows up and he's not wearing the Gilligan hat. Fuck that. You were booked for that. The hat. I booked the hat. Can we be honest? I booked the hat. I really didn't book you. Barbara Walters died on this day in 2022. Barbara Walters. Yeah, she went to hell. She totally went to hell. You want to talk about somebody who turned our appetite for a certain kind of journalism into the only journalism we'd accept? That's her. She wasn't a journalist. She was a gossip queen. And for some reason, ABC put her on a pedestal like she was some kind of important. Diane Sawyer was an actual journalist. Where's her? No, it's Barbara Walters. She's fine, but she's going to hell, is my point. All right, now we're going to add this last one because it just happened today. Linda Lavin is dead. Linda Lavin is, of course, here I'm going to have to show you who this is, right? All right, you see Alice. We'll give you some Alice. She was in a lot of stuff. Linda Lavin was in some shit where, like, she'd pop up and you'd be like, fucking A, it's Alice, right? You'd be like, oh my, it's like 1996 and you're watching Law and Order and like the judge is Alice. You're like, it's Alice. Linda Lavin was cool. All right, hold on. I'm trying to find something here because I didn't prepare for the death of Linda Lavin. I know one can never be prepared for the death of a Linda Lavin, but all right, here we go. All right, what is the story here? Alice was a TV show in the 1970s. It wasn't even a particularly good TV show, but it was a hit, and it was on for a number of years. There was only like 6 things to watch on TV. And so whatever CBS decided to put on after MASH, or I don't even know when it was on, but it was not, I was like 10 when this show was on. And it was the story of a struggling single mom who was, forced to work as a waitress, or she was in an abusive relationship, or so my 8-year-old mind speculated. She was in an abusive relationship, and so now she's got to run off to like Tucson. I don't even know where she was. Flagstaff, like somewhere in the middle of Arizona desert. And by the way, this is 1970s Arizona. This ain't 1990s. This ain't getting a football team. This ain't Scottsdale of 2010. This is not the Arizona we know today. This is like funky 1970s Arizona, where the rest of the country was looking at this wasteland going, can we do anything with this? Can you build on desert sand? Answer, yes, you can. Anyway, so she was working as a diner waitress, Linda Lavin. What's her name? Alice? What's her name? Alice. Alice. Come on, she had a great name. Alice something. Not as great as Morgenstern. Remember Rhoda Morgenstern? That name Morgenstern. Boy, I'm telling you, they were leaning into the New York Jewish writers' room when they named her Rhoda Morgenstern. Now, she was Alice Hyatt. Boom! Pulled that out of my head. Alice Hyatt. She had a son, Tommy. Mel. Remember there was Mel? Mel ran this diner. I don't know how long Mel has been the owner of this diner. I don't know if it was like in his family or if he just opened it a couple of years ago and he's trying to figure it all out. I don't know what the hell was going on there. I know that they had Vera. Vera was a waitress. So Alice works at Mel's diner. Mel's running the joint. He's cooking. I think he's a sailor. He's wearing Gilligan's hat. And then there's 2 other waitresses, right? There's Vera, who there was something wrong with Vera. I mean, they used to write these characters back in the 70s, because we didn't have any kind of understanding of the spectrum or that kind of thing. So those people were just weirdos. And the whole world was just filled with weirdos, right? The kid in class that ate paste, right? He's just the weird kid that ate paste. That's who he was in 1978. Now he's, Jeremy, and he's on the spectrum, and okay, that's fine. Good. You've explained why he's the weird kid, but he is the weird kid. That's fine. Not his fault. It's not his fault that he's weird. That's what you're saying, that it's just something. That's cool. Doesn't change the fact that he's the fat kid eating paste. Okay, so that's what Vera was. Vera was like basically retarded. She was like a grown woman. Do you remember her? She was like a grown woman, and she was like, actually, she wasn't that she was retarded, traumatized, right? Isn't that it? Think about Vera from Alice, you guys. Come on, let's do this. Think about Vera from Alice. First time ever. I know. First time you've ever thought about Vera from Alice. Think about what you remember about her. She's been through something. She was like traumatized. She was like a beaten puppy. Then you got Flo. Flo was the other waitress. Flo was a big old whore. That was her whole thing. Flo, and like they didn't, because it was 70s TV, you didn't have to go for shock. You could just, innuendo was enough. Like they didn't have to be like, Flo goes down on everybody in the parking lot. Like they didn't have to say that because it was 1970s. But they were like, yeah, Flo really gets around. Flo, remember Laverne and Shirley used to call it Vodio Do Do. They didn't really say that they were sluts. They were just saying that like they got into Vodio Do Do. Anyway, so there's something wrong with Vera. Flo was a big old whore, but cool as. Flo was cool. Flo was a good representation of a 1970s empowered woman who didn't take no shit from man and was willing to admit that she too enjoys orgasms. That was Flo. Flo was badass. Where was her show? She probably got a show, didn't she? I bet Flo got a show and it sucked. But here I am 30 years later going, where was Flo's show? That would have been a can't miss hit. All right, that's enough. Linda Lavin, let's find out what she died of. Well, I'm guessing from being like 100. Yeah. Alice star Linda Lavin, dead at 87. Good for her, man. That's a good 87. She got to be Alice for like 10 of those years. And then she got to be the chick who was on Alice for like 50 of those years. That's good. Alice star Linda Lavin has died at the age of 87. Lavin starred in the sitcom Alice based on the Oscar-winning film Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Yeah, that's how fucking noise. That's how crazy. Hold on, what is this? What? I don't want to play anything. Hold on, guys. We're talking about Alice. We're talking about Linda Lavin. She died. Hold on, I got a thing going on here. Really? Fox News is not going to let me access their story? Oh, look, Fox News, I'm sorry, but there are a whole bunch of people who are writing stories about Linda Lavin right now. I don't need you. I don't need to sign up. All right. So the TV show Alice, and this is, you have to understand the 1970s. I jokingly say that there are no rules anymore, but there were really no rules, no logical connections needed for whatever. Cocaine, disco music, sex, hot tubs, all of that stuff. Crazy, crazy times. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, I believe. Is that a Martin Scorsese film? It was a very serious, heavy 1970s street noir film. The new Hollywood. You know, the Francis Ford Coppola's, the Scorsese's, from the same mind that brought you like Mean Streets and that kind of Deer Hunter. It was that kind of thing. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. And it was heavy. It was about domestic abuse. It was about the end of a marriage. It was about a woman, you know, running away from her husband. It was a very serious and dark film. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. So CBS pitched it as a comedy. That's what they did. They're like, I ought to be crazy. You know, when the ex-alcoholic husband is beating the fuck out of her in the driveway, we're going to put a laugh track on that. Seriously. So that's weird that the sitcom Alice is based on a movie that is absolutely. Now let's learn about Linda Lavin. Linda Lavin, the beloved veteran stage and TV actress known for her Emmy-nominated role in the 1976 sitcom Alice and for her Tony-winning performance in the 1986 play Broadway Bound. She's lesser known for that, let's be honest. Died this morning. She was 87 years old. News comes as a shock as Lavin has been working as recently as this month, promoting her new Netflix series, No Good Deed. What? And I tell you, man, she's one of them chicks. She pops up everywhere. I mean, it's not like Linda Lavin disappeared after Alice. She's like I said, you know, the example I use is, I'm watching Law and Order. Oh, the judge is Alice. You know, something like that. I don't know. Let's see. News comes as a shock. Does it say she died unexpectedly due to complications from recently diagnosed lung cancer? One of those 70s smoking chicks. All right, Linda Lavin. There you go. She died. I wish I could say that I could bring you better news, but we're just going to roll straight into the show here. Once again, I want to remind you, we have an executive producer of this year's show. Our executive producer is CC. CC of the Sports Bras. Thank you so much, Sports Bras. Coming to Radio Misfits Dallas pretty damn soon. We're going to get all that put together starting first of the year. I want to thank anybody who dropped a little something. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Barney. Thank you to Peter. Thank you to everybody. Tracy, April, Christine. I can't. Don't do names because you got to stop saying names at some point, and you will have not said everyone. Sorry. So thank you to everybody. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is be the big tipper. You drop a little something in the Venmo, you drop a little something in the Cash App, whatever it is. Help out the show. Took a beating. How black male voters impacted the 2024 election. That's not something I want to delve into. All right, let's get started. I wish I could say that we got better news, but okay, let's talk about another death. You know what? Let's just do all the deaths. We got a bunch of deaths. We just talk about Linda Lavin, Alice. She died. She died because she died. She died because she was 87. Well, Jimmy Carter, former president of the United States, he died yesterday. He died because, well, he was 100 years old. Let's get into the Jimmy Carter thing. Let's see. Do I have any Jimmy Carter thoughts on him dying? I don't. He seemed like a damn good man. I've always been a bit of a Jimmy Carter hobbyist in my adult life. I've always felt that he was misclassified by stupid people, but, you know, whatever. I've always been very, 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 my partner, former partner, the late great Kelly Moore, she went for like a weekend or something, and she worked with him when they were doing some Habitat for Humanity thing back after the hurricanes. She like came back. She's like, she didn't meet him or anything, but she was there, and she was so inspired by what this guy did. What I mean by what this guy did, I mean post-presidency. I don't care about the politics. Post-presidency. There has never been a president of the United States who actually worked harder post-presidency to make the world a better place than when they actually were at the levers controlling shit. Can't deny that. It's also, he's a confounding individual for a lot of people on the far right, because what are you going to do? You can say Jimmy Carter wasn't a good Christian? That dude's about as Southern Christian, Jesus-y as it gets. Died at 100 years old. He was an incredibly good man. Again, we're not talking about the politics. He was a good man. Jimmy Carter died at 100. Good for him. God, he looked terrible though, right? Did you see some of that? So this is Jimmy Carter's last public appearance, and it's just like a gray toupee in a hefty bag, sitting in a wheelchair with a blanket over. You know, it's just like, what is that? Is that a human? Has he stopped being this species? Is that what happens at 100? Do you become something? He didn't look good. He didn't look happy. His wife died last year, right? Rosalind died last year, so he's got to go soon. They all, you know, when people are married like that, they always die within a couple of years. Yeah, maybe that's not so much a coincidence as it is that they were both in their 90s. That's why they die within a couple. Maybe that. No, they couldn't live with. That's sweet. We're gonna. You know what? I'm gonna allow you to use that because it is sweet. We all deal with death in a different way. Jimmy Carter, president of these here United States from 1976 to 1980, got his ass handed to him by Ronald Reagan. Died at 100 years old, Jimmy Carter. All right, let's see. What else do we have to talk about really quick? Planes are falling out of the sky. I don't get what's going on here. We got drones. Yeah, nobody's talking about the drones anymore. Drones are still happening. We just got bored because we're idiots. Because for 3 weeks, we're like, oh, it's an alien invasion. This is serious. Government, you all got to take us seriously. We're seeing this. And the government's like, shut up, you fucking peasants. And we're like, you can't talk to us that way. Shut up, you fucking peasants. Ain't nothing going on. It's airplanes. No, it's not. You're gaslighting us. Shut up. Hair, Christmas. And now everybody's like, yeah, so I guess drones are just a thing now. They're not going to tell us anything about it. No, we demand answers. You can't have answers. Okay. What'd you get for Christmas? That's where we are now with the drones. That's where we are. I shit you not. Fucking drones. But now we got planes crashing. We had a plane crash, I think, on Friday night in Kazakhstan or somewhere like that. One of them places. No pugs. It was Kurdistan. Whatever. You're not here because, you know, I'm tuning into this guy because he knows everything about Eastern Europe. Whatever. A plane crash. They think the Russians might have shot it down. Somewhere, Turkmenistan? Is that it? We expect planes to crash in those places. So what's going on with my background? What happened to my background? Oh, why did that happen? Why did I lose my background? I like my train. How long has that been the case, chat room? You don't care. I'm going to make us watch a video now for 35 seconds, so that's fun. South Korea plane crashed. Bad one. 100. What's the death toll up to? Is that 179? All but 2 people. All but 2 people survived. 2 people survived. They were seated way in the back. They were seated back in the tail section. I don't know what their condition is. They got burned up because I've seen the video. Hold on, 10 seconds. 10 seconds, and then I get to put on a nice little background thing. Yeah, because don't worry, I'm not paying YouTube to get Pugs. Just pay. It's like nothing, and you can get rid of those ads. No. I don't pay for things that are otherwise free. What is this? Yeah, we get the train again. They're going to give me another commercial? YouTube. Oh, my God, really turning the screws to me today. How you guys doing? Other than all this, other than this. You guys doing good? Good. All right, here we go. Where was I? Train time. I love the train. All right, where was I? South Korean plane crash. Here's what they're saying. They think bird strike. They're saying bird strike. They're saying pilot error. It was coming in for landing there in South Korea. Now, the reason I mentioned this, and I kind of just glossed over the Turkmenistan, Kurdistan, whatever issue, because South Korea is normal people place. It's a normal people place. Plane crashes in Turkmenistan. I'm like, yeah, that's not a normal person place. Do I need to be more clear? Okay, I'll give you an example of normal person place. New York City, not normal person place. Turkmenistan International Airport. Okay, you get it? How about this one? Normal place. Charles de Gaulle International Airport, Paris. Normal people place. Not normal people place. The Idi Amin International Airport in the Congo. Okay? That's not a normal. So the Turkmenistan thing, it's like, yeah, whatever. That plane crashed. Probably got shot down by a Russian missile. We'll deal with that can of worms later. South Korea is normal. We watch movies that these people make. We listen to music these people make. We eat their chicken, their fried chicken. South Korea is as normal and like us as we have a partner in that region. I mean, I guess Japanese too, but no. Japanese got their own weird thing going on. South Korea is really leaning into more being like Americans, you know? So that's why it's concerning. Bird strike? Why wasn't the landing gear down? The landing gear didn't come down. This plane was I don't know if it was landing at it was coming down. Was it intended to land there? I don't know. But this guy, he was no Sully. But he also had no river. Sully got the bird strike and the engines all died and he lost altitude, but he was over the Hudson River and he was able to belly land it in water, and Sully gets a movie and Sully is awesome. And now every time somebody, if Sully's impersonated, it's Tom Hanks who impersonates Sully. That's pretty good. So this guy didn't have that. This guy is like landing. He's like bird strike. And he's like, oh my God, runway. So he tried to belly land on the runway. And I don't know if they just didn't have time to put that foam down. And I don't know if that foam even works. They see it. It's like, it's all right. You can land like a toboggan slide. We're going to put shaving cream on the runway. It'll be fine. Come on down. I don't even know if they had time to do that. But the plane definitely didn't have its landing gear down. 179 people died. I don't want to show the video. I got the video. You can see the video. Okay, you just go to YouTube, South Korean plane crash. I don't want to show the video. It's ugly. Not because I'm like, afraid that YouTube won't let nothing like that. I'm not worried about being bad. It's bad energy, bad mojo. It's terrible. People died. 2 people survived. Jeez Louise. Do you want to survive that? Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, that's a stupid question. Yeah, you want to survive it. But do you want to survive a plane crash when you're like in the tail section? These people were in the tail section. The 2 that survived, a man and a woman, members of the crew, they were seated in the far back end of the airplane. They survived. The only ones to survive. If you see the video, you see that tail section explodes real good, like with flame and all that shit. So it's not like they didn't get roasted for a little bit. So what is the level of their survival? Oh my God. I don't want to live. Look, I'm sorry. If it's like you died in a plane crash, or good news, you survived, but you're burned over 90% of the body and you look like the kid from Mask for the next 40 years of your life. No, I'd rather just. Anyway, crazy, terrible video. I don't want to watch it, but hey, if you guys are into that kind of thing, you weirdo kinksters. Let's see here. What else do we have news-wise happening today? Hey, Trump, I love this. Trump's asked the Supreme Court to pause its TikTok ban. TikTok is supposed to be banned in this country by federal decree. Like January 1st or 12th. I don't know what it is. Isn't it like it's not January 1st. It's like February 1st or something. Remember? Congress got all crazy and they decided to ban TikTok last year. And you guys do know the origin story of TikTok, right? It was Trump. Trump was like the first guy who started talking shit on TikTok. And then a whole bunch of his underlings who were mega congressmen and stuff, they were all like, we need to ban TikTok. And it became a thing. And then they banned TikTok. And then the TikTok owners go to Mar-a-Lago, and a week later, Trump is like, hey, remember how I was all about banning TikTok? Yeah, I need to talk to the Supreme Court about them letting them keep going. Which is not, this isn't even a thing, though. This isn't a thing. That's not, the Supreme Court doesn't do that. This is not in the purview of the Supreme Court. But it is interesting. It is interesting. And it is the water slide that we are going to the issue-based waters. We're going to be on a water slide for the next 4 years. So whatever. If Trump doesn't like something now, he might like it sooner or later. Whatever. Let's just have fun. Just ignore it. Ignore it or lean into it if that's your thing. If this is like your Rome, all right, good for you. Go have fun. But yeah, so Trump has asked the Supreme Court to pause the TikTok ban. The Supreme Court is going to be hearing oral arguments next week. TikTok says that the law is a violation of the First Amendment, the law which bans them. It's a violation of the First Amendment. And a whole bunch of congressmen. And by the way, this is bipartisan now. It started out as a MAGA thing, but it is definitely bipartisan. The USA, our official line is that TikTok is a national security threat. What's going on with Elon Musk? You know I'm not a big Elon Musk fan. I think he's a weirdo. Talk about being on the spectrum. Although I think he admits that. That's not, I don't think I'm breaking news there. He's definitely, geniuses. Most of the people that contribute to humanity in ways that most of us peasants can't even comprehend, most of those people are on a spectrum. Their brains are different than ours. We, because we're myopic and we're like, we're all fucking stupid, only using 20% of our brains. Anybody using 25 is a weirdo, right? That's how we look at it. These autistic people are doing shit like Elon Musk. They're geniuses. Do you think that Da Vinci had table manners? Or do you think during the time of Da Vinci, people were like, just be careful around him. He's a little temperamental and kind of weird. Can't explain it. Yeah, because he's a genius. Because the brains are working in ways that ours don't. All right. So Musk is a weirdo. He's a weirdo. And he's involved in something now. I don't know if this is look, there's a lot of people out there who are like, Elon Musk is the real president and Trump is Elon Musk's puppet, which I enjoy as a narrative. I don't believe it's true. I enjoy it as a narrative. I enjoy it as a narrative because that's exactly the kind of shit that Trump hates. So I just know that irritates him. And, I like to poke the guy. Poke the bear. Shit seems to be working out way too well for him, is my point. So I kind of enjoy that. So we'll poke him a little bit with that. You're not even the real guy in power. I am too. No, you're not. So anyway, so that's going on. So that's causing some issues. But also, we're getting into this whole immigration thing. Turns out that Elon Musk, hey, what a surprise. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy aren't as ride or die with the whole America's for white people kind of argument. No, they're not. They're both foreigners. They're both foreigners who came here on H1N1 visas, which is, is that the bird flu? What did I just cite? Did I cite the bird flu or did I cite the visa that allows super smart people from India to come here and cure cancer? One of those is the one I'm talking about. So here's the argument, right? So the argument is that the Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk of South Africa, and Vivek is American, right? His parents, I think, are from India, but I think he was born here. Anyway, point is this: they want immigration. They basically want to go out and cherry pick the smartest people from all the worst countries and bring them here. And I guess they're getting into some opposition to that idea from within this whole thing. So there's like a whole weird thing going on. Steve Bannon is now that's where it is. It's starting with like the Bannon wing of MAGA. Bannon is like, Musk, you're a stupid idiot. He called him a toddler. He's a foreigner. He's called him a foreigner. All this stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, so that's going on with Elon Musk. There is apparently, and we'll cover it as more, things pop up where we see chinks in the armor, or is it chinks? What is it? Is it chinks or chinks? I don't know. Which is the less racist way to say it? I'm not sure, and I don't care. We'll find out. There'll be more. But apparently there's some, and you know what I bet it is? I bet it's Musk and Trump. I bet they're fine. They're in a room. They're like, I bet they're fine. But it's like Musk has a whole group of people. Trump has a whole group of people. And I think it's these people who are not getting along who are causing all the problems. Vivek Ramaswamy, he's kind of like he's like Musk Smithers, right? Isn't that what this guy is? Isn't this what he's become? Vivek Ramaswamy stank. I want to play this. I can't find it. Holy fudge. Here we go. I don't know where this Vivek Ramaswamy guy came from. I don't know. He just all of a sudden started showing up on my TV screens about a year ago. And now I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's a thing. We take him serious now. I don't know when this happened. Never heard of him. If there was ever like, a foreign agent that they wanted to just drop into our midst, he's a good one. That'd be a good one because I don't know where he came from. He's a billionaire. Okay, that's not, to me, that's not a ringing endorsement. So I've never really liked Vivek Ramaswamy. Haven't even committed his proper pronunciation of his last name to memory. That's how little I care for him. But I find myself agreeing with him. This is something that Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm gonna have to memorize that name. This is something that he posted over the weekend, and it's got him now on the outs. It's got him. Everybody's like, MAGA's all mad at him now. I agree with him 100%. This is not polarizing. This should not be a provocative statement. Here's what he says. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans, not Native Americans, but American citizens, people born in America, educated in America. The reason tech companies are hiring people from India and Asia and all that over Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit. That is a lazy explanation, Vivek says. He says a key part of this comes down to the C word, and that's culture. He says tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're serious about fixing this problem, we have to confront the truth. Here is what Vivek Ramaswamy thinks is the truth. Says our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 1990s, and likely much longer. I'm a bit older than you, Vivek. I can tell you it definitely predates the 1990s. I can speak to as far back as the 1970s when this was happening in our culture. Vivek Ramaswamy says, our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long. That doesn't start in college. It starts much younger. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympian or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers in the world. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Vivek Ramaswamy goes on to say, fact. I know multiple sets of immigrant parents from the 1990s who actively limited how much their kids could watch of those shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful graduates. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Well, that's a dumb one. Nobody hangs out at the mall anymore, Vivek Ramaswamy. So this is what Vivek Ramaswamy is saying the problem with we Americans are. He's saying that it's not that we're dumb. It's not an IQ thing. It's a culture thing. He is saying and arguing in this tweet that Vivek Ramaswamy, who's now going to be in control of a very big part of the government, he is saying that it is Americans' embracing of mediocrity that has led us to this point, where the valedictorian is always some kid from the Philippines, or whose parents were from the Philippines, or, the orchestra that just one state is all a bunch of Chinese kids, whose parents were born in mediocrity. Because those cultures that weren't handed everything, and by the way, this is me now, this is not Vivek, this is something I've long believed. We've had it easy for so long. We are fat, soft, and lazy as a people. Let me give you an example of this. So years and years ago, I took a job and I was working in a video. It was a nighttime job. My buddy Ed and my buddy Skin, Mr. Skin, you guys know MrSkin.com. They had this whole early internet sort of porn thing. And it wasn't really porn, but it was girls that would talk to you. So we had this building where we had these girls, it's kind of like OnlyFans, but it was 20 years ago and whatever. So I was the guy who was in charge of basically the building, and I had 5 girls that worked the night shift, and I was just in an office watching TV, hanging out, making sure, everything got done. So I spent a lot of time hanging out with these girls. And this is where I kind of realized the difference between people born in America and people who were born elsewhere. One of these girls was amazing. She was basically a stripper, and by some suburban raised white kid's view, she would probably just be some dumb disposable whore. But I spent time with this girl. This girl was brilliant. This girl was smart. This girl was decent. This girl was everything that you would want in a mover and a shaker. But she's doing early 2000. Actually, this is late 90s because this was when I was unemployed between the Chicago radio show and the Dallas show. This is she's doing late 90s, titty shows on the internet. She was an amazing woman. She was super cool. Not a fuck up. The American version of her is a junkie who's got meth teeth and she's I'll show it to you, daddy. No, this was a girl who's from Chechnya or some shit. And she got out of there. She can't get a job. So you know what? She's pretty. And this is what she's doing now. And when I say we've got it too easy, that we here in America, and we'll get back to what Vivek Ramaswamy just said. My point is I was sitting there talking to her once, and I said, "So what's it like here?" I go, "What is it that made you leave?" And she said, "Well, I came over here 3 years ago." She was in high school. She said, "I came over here 3 years ago. My mother just said that's enough, and we had to leave. I was in school, and I looked out the window, and I saw Soviet tanks crushing my brother." Her brother. Soviet tanks rolled through her town in Chechnya, and her brother, who was out there protesting while she was in school, got run over right in the streets right before her and her mother's eyes, and that's why they're in America. That's what they came here for. She ain't a dumb whore, okay? She just never had opportunity. And we here in America, we have nothing but opportunity. And that is what Vivek is saying. We've had way too much opportunity. We are way too soft. We are way too into pretty is important, Money is important. We here in this country think that money is the only thing that matters. Oh, he's a good man. He's very successful, don't you know? That's how we think. That's how we're wired. All right, let's get back to Vivek Ramaswamy and his argument from over the weekend that Americans, the reason Americans don't get good tech jobs, the reason we're falling behind the rest of the world in science and math and STEM in general, is not because we're dumber. It's just simply because of our embrace of mediocrity in culture. And he's drawing a comparison to immigrant parents who like make sure that their kids kick ass. Most American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents, the immigrant parents who don't allow their children to have too much fun. More normal American kids view those kinds of kids with scorn. They're nerds. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raised their kids according to one of these models versus the other. And be brutally honest. Normalcy, Vivek Ramaswamy says, doesn't cut in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. He's absolutely right. He is right. We are, as a culture, we embrace shit that we shouldn't embrace. We make it that the most important thing is to have money. Doesn't matter where the money comes from. Hell, if you're a fifth generation Rockefeller and you're attractive, you can be the most famous and beloved person in America. The fuck is that? So I don't often agree with Vivek Ramaswamy, but he happens to be right now in this tweet, and I still call it a tweet, actually, hitting on something that I've always felt, that we did this to ourselves. We had it too easy for too long. When you're the world's superpower and nobody can fuck with you, you don't worry about anything else, and you start complaining about shit like where the dude in the dress gets to pee instead of whether or not Canada's going to roll their tanks over our borders. We've had it very easy. And it's reflected in our just underachieving. We are like a fifth generation rich kid. That's what we are. We're not Andrew Carnegie. We're not Andrew Carnegie. Actually, we are. That's the problem. We're all a bunch of Dale Carnegies when we should be a nation of Andrew Carnegies. That was bad. All right, let's go. Look at me agreeing with that haircut, that spray tan. No, he's not spray tan. He's Indian. He's legitimately golden. Here's a story out of our fair state of Texas. Here we do this show from Dallas, Texas. Did you know that the Bible is now porn here in Texas? Yeah, it is. The Bible is being banned from school districts in Texas. Why? Wait, what happened here? Hold on. Did I lose the story? Sorry, an error occurred. If you have any queries about this, what the hell happened to my story here? All right, it doesn't matter. I can tell it to you anyway. So here in Texas, we got all of these rules about books now, new ones that were just like written. Hey, we can get anything passed. Let's throw this out. So there's a rule about there's a law in Texas school libraries. They can't have any books that promote sexy stuff, and they can't have any and there's a whole criteria of things that you cannot have represented in books. And a number of people have now decided that they're going to push this law, and they're going to make sure that every school in Texas does not have a Bible in it because the Bible's got a lot of violence and a lot of things. And there are a number of school districts here in Texas who right now, and I wish I could open the story because I can't give you the names of them, who have removed the Bible. Nah, they don't want to. They've removed the Bible from the school because this is the law, and they've been told by a judge, hey, the law is the law. The law is the law, fucking people. They're like, but I'm a Jesus Christian, and the Jesus Christian Bible should trump the law. Shut up. Stop it with that. No, it doesn't trump the law. Stop. Trump. Look at that. Can't get away from that word. It doesn't circumvent or The Bible's got a lot of incest talk in there, man. That's some sexy shit that you guys wrote a law that said you can't have books about that kind of stuff, and the Bible's got that shit. So they'll find some workaround. The school districts in question are sending out mass emails to parents saying, if your child wants a Bible, here, this local church would happily give them a Bible. And it's all like they're doing things that they wouldn't do for any other book that was banned. I guess the Bible ain't any other book. That's for damn sure. All right, Bible getting banned in school districts here in Texas. This is going to be a fun, because it's going to go through the court system. We're going to figure out that law is going to get changed, except for the Bible. You can't have people having sex with their children, except for the Bible. All right. A bunch of dead babies are showing up in Texas. It's becoming a thing. I can't believe I'm doing this story on the last day of 2024. It is the last day. Tomorrow's like New Year's Eve. Today's like the last full normal day. So apparently in Texas, we got this problem of babies. Not all of them dead, but they're... Did you know that Texas was the first state to enact the safe haven law? This was like back in the late 70s. Like, because there were a whole bunch of people, women, teenage girls who were having babies. And I don't know. I guess they weren't getting abortions. So they would have the baby and then they were just abandoning babies. So Texas was the first state in the nation to create that, baby drop-off law, no questions asked. You show. I think that's a fire department thing, isn't it, in the rest of the country? Because like where I'm from in Chicago, it was always every couple of months, another baby was dropped off at the fire department. And could you Uber that? Like if you had a baby and you didn't want to keep it and you were like, well, I guess I can just send it to the fire department because that's what you're supposed to do. I can send this baby. Could you call Uber and like then the Uber shows up and you walk out there with the baby? And the Uber guy's like, hey, ma'am. And you're like, no, you're just taking the baby. Like, just here's what I need you to do, Uber guy. This is my baby. I need you to deliver him to the... Is that how it works? Take him down to the Uber guy. Will take him down to the fireplace. And then the cops are like, or not the cops, but the firemen are like, you're a terrible person for doing this. And he's like, I'm just the Uber driver, man. I don't know. Anyway, that was a thing. And last year, apparently, Texas, we're crushing it. We're crushing it as far as like, new babies showing up dead places. We got babies in dumpsters. We got babies in riverbeds. We got baby in a dumpster. A spate of abandoned newborns unsettles Texas. The call came in on the fire truck's radio on a blazing hot summer afternoon. Baby in a dumpster. All right, you know what? Fuck this. I don't want to do this story. I don't know why I committed to it. They're saying it's because of, women are having babies now. We're going to start seeing this a lot. We're going to start seeing babies left on roadsides. People can't get abortions in Texas anymore. There's a lot of babies that are going to be born now in the next few months, probably starting right about now. And they're saying that that's why. They're saying it's, who is this? One Direction lead singer Liam Payne. Oh, yeah. Remember when the One Direction guy died a couple of months ago? Apparently they've indicted 5 people for his murder. I don't care. I'm over it. Tell me about the drones, okay? Not Liam Payne. I assume he just, got fucked up and fell off a... I don't care. I don't care about Liam Payne. I want to know about the drones. Anyway, that's a terrible story. I am so sorry. I am so sorry that I ruined 2024. I'm like, that baby story. Let's do that. No, let's do this one. Here we go. Here's another dead guy. More dead things. Why not? It's the end of 2024. Greg Gumbel has passed away, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Gumbel is not Bryant Gumbel. Greg Gumbel is Bryant Gumbel's brother. Here you go. I'll show you who he is. Yep. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, here you go. All right. All right, there you go. All right, there you go. That is sports icon, American play-by-play guy. Did you know we had 2 of them? Did you realize that we had 2 of them? Most people don't. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Gumbel died yesterday. Of course, this is Bryant Gumbel. That's not Greg. I'm showing you Bryant. Bryant was the little brother. Greg Gumbel was the big brother. Both of them were everywhere in sports. There's Bryant. There's Greg. That's Greg Gumbel. There you go, just so you can get the difference between Bryant and Greg Gumbel. This one's alive. That's good. Okay. This one's dead. Greg Gumbel. I got nothing else. I really got nothing else. Would you believe that Greg Gumbel died on like Saturday, I think that's when I saw it. And I'm like, oh, I could talk about Greg Gumbel for a while. But since then, I mean, we got Jimmy Carter died. It's like, sorry, Greg. And then you got Linda Lavin. Greg Gumbel, you're great and everything, but Alice, sorry. Anyway, Greg Gumbel died. What did he die of? Let's see. Well, he died of being old. Cancer, maybe. I don't know. It's always a good. He wasn't that old, though. Let's not be like he was super old. He wasn't super old. Legendary sportscaster Greg Gumbel died Friday evening at the age of 78. He's not that old. The longtime NFL, Jimmy Carter was 100. Linda Lavin was 89. The longtime NFL commentator and CBS sports reporter who covered everything from Super Bowls to Olympic events died following a battle with cancer. There it is. It's always cancer. Don't know why I'm doing the applause. One thing we can all agree on is that cancer does not deserve any applause. What is happening behind me? That is awesome. I don't know where that is, but I want to go to there. Look at that. All right. What else do we got? All right, Greg Gumbel. I gotta do that. Let me say that one. Let's see, do we have anything else? Here's a horrifying story if you're a parent. Here's a horrifying story. And, there are many reasons why I don't go to the beach and why I don't enjoy beach vacations and why if I was like, the father of a family and we're like, we're going on vacation, it would never be, we're all going to Cancun. We ain't doing that. That ain't how I do it. I don't like beaches. Here's one of the reasons why. This shit. So this happened down in Brazil where I guess anything's possible because it's on the bottom of the world and, I don't ask questions, but shit happens there. Rafael Graca do Prado, 32 years old, who runs a tourism boating business, has told how he spotted a large plastic ball in the middle of the ocean with an 8-year-old boy inside of it. Yeah. You know those balls? Have you seen those walking balls that like you get in the water and like you get inside the ball and you can like walk on the water like inside the ball? They're really cool and they're really fun. And then maybe you've seen them like there were people out at the lake. They had it. It was tied off to the back of their boat. And so people are just like walking in the ball like and it's tied to their boat so it's not going anywhere. This kid, they were on the beach. The parents, 8-year-old boy, parents put him in the ball. They put him in the plastic ball. Do we have video? Wait a second. We got video. I did not realize we had video. Hold on. So here, we're going to pause this. We'll go back. That is awesome. All right. So parents have the ball tied to like something on the beach, right? It's probably like, 100 foot of rope. So the boy's on the waves and he's in the water at the beach and the parents are drinking and they're having fun and the rope broke. That's right. The rope broke and apparently nobody noticed. And the 8-year-old boy got taken out by the tides. Oh my God. Well, let me see. Can I show this? I don't even know if I can show. Yeah, I can show this. All right, here, we'll do it this way. All right, let's watch this. So this is the dude who runs the tourism boat who like discovered it. He discovered him. Yeah, we can see it. Okay, so there he is. Let's see how much of this video we can. 8-year-old boy. My God. Hold on. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Here we go. Okay, watch this. I guess there's no sign. Is there something?
Ele até lá.
Oh, there is
Se
something.
abrir. Cara, olha a vacilo que esses caras dão. Não abre a boia, não. Puxa ele até lá. Se abrir, enche de água, aí fudeu.
I mean, at least you can still see land, That's pretty good. You can still see land. You're not that far out. Where's the kid?
Tô vindo lá de baixo, falei, aquela bola ali.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he's sitting down. Oh, he's probably so scared. Oh, my God, this poor kid. 8 years old. Holy fuck. What is this, Brazil? Was that Portuguese? I don't speak Portuguese.
Eu tava vindo lá da Fortaleza, eu vi a boia. Eu falei, vou lá, né?
All right, there you go. Whatever. The kid got saved. Put those parents in jail. Nah, I mean, look, I don't know. I need to know more about what was going on with the parents. Because, I could totally see this happening to me. What do you mean you didn't tie it in a double knot? Well, I just did it in a loop-de-loop. You tied our son in a loop-de-loop? He's off in the middle of the ocean in a... All right, there you go. Here's another fun story. This is a couple of weird people. The world is full of weird people. These people, they come to us from England. So this young couple in England, they were raised in this is why, okay, whatever. I'm glad you have your faith. But this is weird religious people. They don't, a lot of times you're focusing way too much on one specific area of interest. These are crazy religious people. You're focusing way too much. You're not learning the little things that you need to know in order to just be a normal human being, okay? But you know everything about Leviticus version 4, chapter 5, and what Mercurius said to the mountain, and you know all about that stuff, and you're weird because of it. Here's a couple of weird people from England. Very religious, weird people. Normal though, they live in an apartment building, and they were talking about how they were asking neighbors, and the neighbors were like, yeah, you need to go talk to your doctor. Young couple, 26 and 24 years old. 26 and 24. Married. I don't know what they look like. There ain't any pictures. But I do think that for my own edification, it would help me if I could see what they look like, what these people look like. They've been married 4 years, 24 and 26. They've been married 4 years. They're having sex every night. They can't get pregnant. They can't figure out why it's not working. Why is this not working? So people, you go see a doctor. Okay, you just got to go see a doctor. You got to tell them, and the doctor will figure it. So the doctor, first thing he does is he gets the chick up in the stirrups, opens the hood, starts poking around a little bit, and immediately realizes that she's a virgin. She's like, you're a virgin. You're a virgin. That can't be. We have sex 3 times a day. No, you're a virgin. I'm a doctor. Trust me, I know these things. You're a virgin. So then they're like, I don't understand. We're just having sex. So the doctor's like, so tell me about this sex that you're having. These people were doing it wrong. You can imagine. You know what they were doing. They didn't know. The wife also didn't understand why sex was so painful. Very proud moment for the husband. Yes, it is. It's very painful. Thank you. Yeah, so they were doing butt sex. They were doing butt sex because nobody ever told them about sex because of Jesus. Dude, I'm sure Jesus was slaying thing. You know what I mean? I'm sure Jesus was into making people feel good and being happy, and there's nothing wrong with sex. There's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, they were doing it wrong. That's the story of the young couple who were doing it wrong. The pair sought out professional help after becoming distraught over their inability to conceive a child. All right, we're going to end it with this one. No, actually, that's not true. We got 2 more. I want to do that. I want to do that. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, okay, we're going to do this. Okay. Whew, maybe this isn't the one to end on. I don't know if this is the one to end on because this is some provocative stuff. Yeah, hold on. There we go. So Netflix, by the way, Netflix, congratulations. Football. Good job, right? We all took a big shit on Netflix back when they, screwed up the whole Tyson Paul thing. We were like, Netflix, you guys, your live stream sucked, dude. But that was all about, Netflix is really about wanting to get into the football business. So all these live events that they're doing, they're all just precursors to work out the bugs to show the NFL that, we can deliver to you a quality product on a platform that is dependable. It's not going to buffer. Because if you remember the Jake Paul fight, Mike Tyson, that was all buffering. It was terrible. It was awful. So they did football on Christmas, and it was great. It was great. Look, you can be a dick, like people like to do that. Sucked. That was their first. It was sucked. It was a different logo. Oh my God, I couldn't even look at the TV because the logo. Fuck you. They did it exactly like it. It was great. They did great. It didn't buffer. It worked. I don't particularly love the Netflix built-in, pause, and I don't love that with their live stream. That was the only time we incurred a problem. We had built up some time because we were going to try and skip through commercials, and then when we did that, it went back to the live game, and we're like, what the fuck? Anyway, that was not cool, but whatever. For the most part, Netflix nailed it with their football stuff. They were great. Didn't they gave us the Eagle family. I thought that was pretty cool. Netflix, Christmas Day football, right? Excuse me. Or whatever it was. We had the first game. Wasn't that it was Iron Eagle? Iron Eagle, the Iron Eagle, and I think it was maybe like Greg Olson or something. I don't know who it was. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It was Iron Eagle. But then the second game was Noah Eagle, his son. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Netflix hired the Eagle family to do this, which is good because the Eagles are very good. I got to be honest. I don't know who Noah Eagle is. Ian Eagle is very good. He's very good. He's very dependable. But his kid was good too. I was like, hey, sounds exactly like Ian Eagle. All right, so there you go. That's the good stuff. Netflix, you did good job with the football. You're going to have a football contract, I promise you. And they did that thing, man. They did that thing. You know why Netflix is going to have a football contract? It's like, well, they can't compete with NBC. What the fuck are you talking about? NBC networks. Do you know what Netflix is able to do? They're going to break the system with what they're going to be able to pay. Prime is too. Prime already did on Thursday night when Prime acquired the rights to Thursday night. They way overpaid for that shit and then got every shitty game the NFL could offer. Netflix is going to do the same thing because as I commented while watching Christmas Day football on Netflix, look at what they've been able to do. Netflix has been able to charge us $20 a month and now additionally sell commercials. And they're selling more money. Netflix, unlike the networks who are like going to try and compete, the networks can only base what they're willing to pay the NFL on what they think they can get in advertising. Well, Netflix will do that too because they're not going to not have commercials. We have TV timeouts, so they're going to sell original new commercials. Netflix salespeople will be selling those ads. So they'll get that. But they also have built in $20 a month from everybody watching, which is, a crazy advantage when it comes to being able to out bargain and out negotiate somebody like CBS, who's desperately going to try and hang on to the AFC. And Netflix is going to be like, yeah, that's cute. How much you offering? You're offering 2 point. Nope, that went nuts, didn't it? Sorry. Got a little comfortable there. What's going on with my camera? I kicked it. I'm sorry, you guys. Ugh. Stupid camera. Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. So Netflix, good job. Good job. Now, Netflix did something else that I want to talk about here. Netflix did a roast of 2024. It was terrible. Don't waste your time. It was an absolute bullshit. Jeffrey Ross is so untalented. Jeffrey Ross is like, I don't understand. He's been around for like 40 years now, as near as I can tell. He has never been funny. He has always been the very definition of a hack comic. And maybe he's leaning into that now, and that's fine. He's not irritating. He's just a hack. He's just like, oh, there is absolutely nothing special about this very polished professional comedian. That's what he is. And he has sort of figured out his way over the past 20 years or so of being the roast master general because he's not good at anything else. So he's like, I'm going to become famous being this guy. So all the Comedy Central roasts and all that, they were always Jeffrey Ross as the roast master general. Everybody else on the dais was super funny and who you were tuning in for. But whatever, you also got Jeffrey Ross because I guess it was his idea to put it on Comedy Central. Whatever. Good idea. It's a good idea. I don't fault the man. But he's not what we're showing up for. Nobody's showing up for Jeffrey Ross at these roasts. So he pitches Netflix. He's like, hey, I've got an idea. You know me. I'm the guy that does all the roasts that everybody love. You know, all the clips that go viral. Hey, Netflix, what if I do a roast of 2024? We'll do it exactly like the roast of Tom Brady or the roast of, you know, whoever. But it'll be like the roast of 2024. And we'll get comedians and we'll roast. All right. So that was the pitch. And he did it. And it was terrible. It was just not funny. The comedians weren't great. Because one of the reasons that you have such incredible daises at those roasts are because the central figure, the star who's being roasted, has famous friends who want to come and fuck with him. I mean, that's how that works. 2024 isn't an actual tangible person who can pick up the phone and call Robert De Niro and go, hey, Bobby, it's 2024. Can you come do the roast? So it sucked. There was like nobody there. It was Jeffrey Ross. It was like, anyway, he was shitty. So they did do one thing that's got people talking. And I'll tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you Inside Edition. I watched it. I can't find a clip of it anywhere. But Inside Edition is all, freaked out about it. So they're doing a story about it. And a lot of people are also, a little upset about this. Comedian Tim Dillon. I don't know if you know who Tim Dillon is. Tim Dillon is, how do I describe Tim Dillon? I think he's funny. I think he's described as, he's one of these Rogan guys. Like he's in with like Rogan's crew. He's a big guy, hefty, fat, gay. He's gay. That's an interesting thing. But he's not like gay. He's like regular guy who happens to be gay. So that's an interesting aspect to Tim Dillon. I guess some people think he's a MAGA comic. I don't know. I don't think he is. I think that's but that's funny is funny, man. Whatever. But okay. So Tim Dillon comes out at the roast of 2024. And he didn't come out as Tim Dillon. He came out as the dead CEO from United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. He came out, he was wearing the exact same clothes Thompson is wearing on his, IMDb, or not IMDb, his LinkedIn profile. He's got chains because he's like in hell, apparently. So let's watch how Inside Edition covered this, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. I definitely have some thoughts, and they are complicated thoughts. Hold on, let me get this pulled up.
A comedian is causing outrage today for making fun of slain healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, complete with blood on his shirt. As Amber Cogliano report is being lambasted online, with pretty much everyone calling it tasteless.
It's the Netflix comedy special that has mouths dropping.
I'm Brian Thompson.
He's playing the ghost of the United Healthcare CEO gunned down in Midtown Manhattan.
Here's the free medicine. There you go.
Comedian Tim Dillon does the shtick in a special called Torching 2024, a roast of the year.
I'm going to hell for this. You might as well laugh.
You can hear the audience laughing nervously. Dillon is dressed in the same sweater Brian Thompson wore in his bio photo on the United Healthcare website. He even put a splatter of fake
Yes, make a note of that. That made me laugh. I chuckled. I laughed.
blood on the shirt. Behind Dillon are the words United Healthcare CEO. He also refers to the people praising Thompson's accused killer.
By the way, I do want to point something out because I wasn't on the air when this needs to be pointed out. We're looking at Luigi Mangione. I've only heard a couple of people mention this. I noticed it, and then I put a thing on Twitter side by side. It was somebody else did it, and I was like, oh, wow. You realize Luigi Mangione here is wearing the exact same outfit that Lee Harvey Oswald was wearing when he was shot dead by Jack Ruby. It's the exact same outfit. Luigi Mangione is a smart motherfucker who is playing multiple fucking 3D chess games at once with us. He's wearing the same clothes, the same sweater, the same style. He's wearing khaki pants. He's dressed. We just didn't know because, Lee Harvey, that was black and white. He's wearing the exact same outfit for his perp walk. That's pretty crazy. Anyway.
Luigi Mangione.
Wait,
He also refers to the people praising Thompson's.
I'm a patsy. And then you just look at him. The dude's going to jump out. Ruby's going to jump out of an elevator and put a bullet in his. This is crazy. And we're not talking enough about it. Well, I guess because I can't really do anything with it. It is a fun fact, though. Luigi Mangione wore Lee Harvey Oswald's outfit for the perp walk.
Accused killer Luigi Mangione.
I understand a lot of you are happy I'm dead.
The special started streaming today, but already it's got people upset. Not funny, pathetic, in fact, goes one comment. Another, making fun of a dead father, brother, and son is beyond the pale.
What is your reaction to seeing that clip? I mean, this man's family is still grieving. This just happened.
Look, it's callous, it's despicable. Some people will say too soon. I don't think there's ever going to be a time when you can joke around about something like this.
Meanwhile, we're learning more about what life is like behind bars for Luigi Mangione, who's accused of assassinating the CEO right here outside Manhattan's Hilton Hotel.
He's not getting out of his cell.
Prison consultant Larry Levine did time at the Metropolitan Detention Center where Mangione is being held. He tells me inmates communicate with each other through air vents.
So there's people shouting in the vents from all the different floors, and you can hear it on all the different floors.
Mangione has pled not guilty to murder charges. Because of his notoriety, he's being held in a single cell.
All right, what the hell kind of news story was that? It was supposed to be about Tim Dillon and the Netflix special, and then they wrapped it up with, that was terrible journal. That was a terrible, oh God. So what is the subject of this story? Is it Luigi Mangione, or is it Netflix having the unmitigated gall to put something on the air that is so obviously shocking? All right, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about Tim Dillon coming out in the Netflix roast of 2024, dressed as the ghost of healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Let's talk about that. Fearless. Look, man, I grew up in the 1990s on the radio doing basically shock talk. We are not the sorts of people, and by we, I'm talking about, my generation. People like me, people who were exposed to early Howard Stern, and who for 15 years before Howard Stern dealt with our own versions, the Steve Dahls and the Jonathan Brandmeyers and the Mancow Mullers. Here in Dallas, you had your Russ Martins. Shocking the audience is not something that I think is bad. I think it's fun. I know where it comes from. I know what the intention is. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. You're supposed to be knocking people off kilter. You're supposed to be making people unbalanced with what they expect to hear. That's what shock is. Does it cross a line? Well, no. Who's making the lines? What are you making the lines? If it doesn't hurt you. Anyway, my thought on what Tim Dillon did there. It was shock. It was classic shock radio. That's the kind of shit that, before social media, before we could cancel people because 5,000 like-minded morons decided to, end somebody's career. Before we could do that with social media, the crazy shit that used to happen on radio in America with shock jocks trying to out-shock jock each other. I mean, people died. People died and people didn't lose jobs. It was just like, yeah, remember the people in Sacramento? Remember these ones? Yeah, man, how much water can a human drink? Hey, we got a couple of tickets to see Britney Spears. We got, what's your name, honey? My name is Britney. Oh, you going to see Britney Spears? I want to. Can you drink this 800-gallon swimming pool filled with water? I'm going to try. Yeah, she died. That was a real story I just told you. That was a real story. So, look, hey, man, that's shocking. She died. If it's supposed to be humor, this is my disconnect with you morally superior puds. If the context by which this shocking bit of content is being shared If the context is humor, comedy show, Tim Dillon is doing it. If I can take those context clues, there is nothing that can be said that will make me hurt or offended or, oh, that's too far. Because you see, it's in the context of silly. It's in the context of creation. It's in the context of humor. Are there lines? I don't know. I have heard comedians do child molester jokes, and I haven't been like, that's too far. Stop it. It's humor. Now, if it's not your kind of humor and you're made uncomfortable by it, good on you, man. That's cool. Don't go see Tim Dillon. Don't listen to Howard Stern in 1995. That's fine. But there's a whole bunch of us out there who it doesn't really bother us, and it makes our days go by and like, oh my God, cringe humor. I love cringe humor. Am I a bad person? I don't think I'm a bad person. On measure, I do not think I'm a bad person, but I love cringe humor. I love awkward humor. I love shock humor. I love dark humor. Some of my favorite comedians are just some of the darkest. I'll give you an example. My son and I watched a whole bunch of stand-up comedy this weekend because we love stand-up comedy. I introduced him to Anthony Jeselnik. He wasn't familiar with Jeselnik, and I'm like, oh, really? So we watched a couple of Anthony Jeselnik, including the new one. That dude is dark. Anthony Jeselnik. I mean, if you were to take his stand-up comedy at face value, you would be waiting for him at the stage door with the local police department because he's obviously either a child murderer or a child molester or because his humor is so dark and so awful. But we don't do that. We don't meet Anthony Jeselnik at the stage door with the local prosecutors because it's in the context of humor. It's in the context of art where as long as you know going in what to expect or that the unexpected is to be expected, you can't be offended by it. People want to be offended. That's the Rubicon that we've crossed here in the past since social media is that people want to be offended. People are out there looking to be offended. They want to comment on something that they would otherwise not know the first thing about, as long as they can be like, this is wrong. And I am obviously a better person because I recognize this is wrong. That's what it's about. Is it okay to be offended by Tim Dillon going on Netflix and performing as the ghost of Brian Thompson? Yeah, you're damn right it's okay. And that's why you don't watch it. And that's why you can cancel your Netflix subscription. But you ain't going to do that, are you? No, because you're still waiting on the next season of Peaky Blinders or what the fuck. I don't know what else. Love Island. You're not going to do that, but you're going to go on. You're going to try and destroy Tim Dillon's career for being a fearless comedian who isn't afraid to push the boundaries of what is and what isn't good taste. Are there any boundaries that I think need to be respected? I really don't. Again, if you are framing this in the context of this is humor, we're kidding. We're trying to see if you're made uncomfortable because these things make you laugh, which I also think is a part of it. I think there are people who are made uncomfortable when shit like that makes them laugh. Oh, I must be a shit person. I'm going to have to scream the loudest about how that's wrong. Tim Dillon goes on Netflix, does some of the most fearless. It was bad comedy too. That needs to be mentioned. Tim Dillon is pretty funny. It was bad comedy. The jokes were not good. He was very nervous. If you have a chance to see it, he knew that this is something that could end his career or could make his career. And he wasn't quite sure what that was going to look like. And just, it wasn't funny. The bit wasn't funny. The premise is funny. If you had told me beforehand, if you were like, Tim Dillon is going to do this bit where he comes out as the CEO of United Healthcare, the ghost of the CEO of United Healthcare, and he's pissed. If you had told me that before, I'd be like, yeah, I got to see that. Because that premise is, in the context of Tim Dillon, fearless comedy, that premise is something I want to see. Yeah, I'm not a shrieking violet. I can't look at that. That's terrible. Fuck you. My dad was murdered in the streets when I was 6 months old. Shot dead. Just like this guy. Ain't nobody. I got over it. Trust me. We'll be fine. His kids will be fine with their $100 million. So stop it. Is it bad taste? Sure. Absolutely. But bad taste exists in this world. Bad taste exists. We embrace bad taste in all kinds of things. Baby Got Back. That's a sad song. Is in bad taste. We all love that song. We all love Baby Back. It's bad taste. What else is in bad taste? Porkies. Who doesn't love Porkies? Porkies is in terrible taste. We love Porkies. Blazing Saddles could never be made today. Of course it could, Frank. What are you talking about? Of course Blazing Saddles could be made. I think these people say stuff like that all the time. Archie Bunker, that couldn't be made today. Have you ever fucking seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is the most over-the-top, purposefully offensive television writing in history. Far more offensive than anything Mel Brooks could ever come up with. And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is the longest running television show in the history of television. So Frankie, baby, I love you, but don't tell me Blazing Saddles couldn't be made today. Of course it could. Of course it could. I've never understood. You couldn't do Archie Bunker. Have you ever met Frank from It's? Have you ever seen Danny DeVito's character from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? And you're telling me you don't think Archie Bunker could be done? You're just stupid. You're just not stupid. You are specifically ignorant in this realm, and you shouldn't be saying stuff. Because, Jesus Christ, I have never heard Archie Bunker say the N-word. I have heard Danny DeVito as Frank on It's Always Sunny say the N-word multiple times. So don't tell me. I think we're done. We're going to do a show tomorrow. We're going to do, look at this. I gave you an extra half hour. I gave you, like I'm doing you a favor. We all know you guys are doing me the favor. This is, it's been so good. I haven't done a show since when? Last Tuesday? Was it last Tuesday? It's been almost, because when was New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve? So I did a Christmas Eve show. I didn't do a show on Christmas, which was Wednesday. I didn't do a show Thursday, and I didn't do a show Friday. So this is a real treat for me. We'll be back tomorrow. We will do a show tomorrow. No show New Year's Day. I've got some plans on New Year's Day, so no show on New Year's Day. And the day after New Year's, we will we'll kick off Pledge Week. Yeah, we're back. It's gonna be a rough Pledge Week, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you once again to our executive producer of today's show. Today's executive producer was, of course, our good pal Cece from the Sports Bras. Sports Bras are going to be a part of what we're doing here, Radio Misfits Dallas. We can't wait to unveil all the exciting things coming in 2025. Big changes in 2024 for us. We'll talk about all of that. Like big change. Like we saw, like if you go back to like shows that were done in January of 2024. I mean, my God, I think we've had 4 different studios this year before finally settling. Not settling. I mean, what is that? Hold on. Yes, what is? I don't know what that is. All right, whatever it is, whatever my background is right now, I really like it. I really enjoy it. I like the big crazy clock. You don't know where the real stuff and the background begins, like the TV. Like this guy, like this guy is real, but the clock behind him is not. So I think that means the show's over. I think we're good. Thank you, CC. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is be the big tipper who drops the most into the Venmo or into the Cash App account. You can do it anytime you want. Nothing I like more than waking up in the morning and seeing somebody drop a little tip from the previous day. The big tipper on today's show will be, of course, the executive producer of tomorrow's show. Tried to get my kid to watch Gladiator last night. Oh, God. All right. You know what? Here we go. I'll tell you some stories. I got my kid with me. Not with me here. He's at home. Hey, where's my... Haven't heard from him. That's pretty good. It's pretty good that I haven't heard from him. He's either dead, or nothing's wrong. It's either the absolute worst thing or there's nothing wrong at all. So last night, I'm like, let's watch a movie. It's Sunday night. Nobody gives a shit about the Atlanta Falcons or whatever that football game was. I'm like, you into this? He's like, no. I'm like, me neither. Let's watch a movie. So the kid wants Gladiator 2, right? Gladiator 2 just came out. Everybody, Gladiator 2, so good. Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2. Want to see Gladiator 2? Well, we don't have access to Gladiator 2. I don't know if it's out yet. Love to be able to watch it. So I go, have you even seen Gladiator? He's like, no. And I go, but you're down for Gladiator 2. Totally. They're not the same movie, Dad. I go, I know. But it just seems like, you might want to, see the first one before you see the second one. It goes, doesn't work that way, Dad. I'm like, okay. So I say, do me a favor. Let's make this part of my Christmas presents. And by the way, I got the best dad Christmas ever. Oh, my God. You want to know what I got? You want to know what dad Christmas is? You want to know what I got? A bottle of fucking Jameson and some nose hair clippers. Boom. It's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. That is, you want to know why? You want to know why? Dads, you want to know why we don't need Christmas presents? Why we don't need you guys getting us? We need what we need, okay? That's all. Because we're grown-ups. And, in July, if we need a new Walkman, I don't know why I said Walkman, we'll just buy it because we're grown-ups and we don't need like a windfall at Christmas to get us through the rest of the year. So, look, dads always get shit on. We always get garbage. One of my funniest, I remember Christmas Day, I was in high school. I went over to my friend's house and his dad answers the door. And so ding dong, Christmas Day. I'm standing at the door. His dad answers. He's like, oh, come on in. And I'm like, yeah, Merry Christmas. He goes, how was Christmas? And this dad looks at me and he goes, the idiot bought me a tie. I've been a cop for 35 years. I wear a uniform. The idiot bought me a tie. Come on in. I'm like, that's dad. His dad was a cop. His dad wore a uniform. His dad didn't wear ties. His dad wasn't a businessman. But the kid is so fucking thoughtless. He's just like, oh, dads wear ties, right? Yeah, no, not yours. But go ahead. I'll never forget that. Yeah, the idiot bought me a tie. How was Christmas? Yeah, the idiot bought me a tie. He's in the back room. It's like, you wear a uniform, don't you? Yeah, I've been wearing a uniform for 35 years. The idiot bought me a tie. I'm like, okay. All right. Thank you. So I did good, man. I told my kid like months ago, I'm like, dude, you want to give me something that I need for Christmas that I can never remember to get? I could just run out and buy them myself, but I forget. Like, you want to give me something for Christmas? Nose hair clippers. I need nose hair clippers. Got a crazy nose hair situation going on. We need to get it under control. Kid got me nose hair clippers, electric ones. Nose Ninja, man groomers, I don't know, whatever. It's a name brand. Pretty good. Oh my God. Guys, if you're my age, if you're 45 and up, okay? If you're 45 and up, please, I'm not kidding. I know you don't even give it thought. I'm going to talk to people who, and by the way, I don't even know if this is true or not. I'm going to talk to like my boys. I called them out earlier. My Byrons, my Jeffs, my Barneys, my Peters, my CCs, my Adams. I'll call all my boys out. Dude, fucking get the nose hair situation under control. Something happens to men when they turn about 45 years old. They either just completely ignore it and then they get like you got to handle it. You got to handle it. And I used to tweeze. I used to like, and that was an addictive sensation, but I used to tweeze. And I was like, I can't tweeze anymore. I need to. So now I got the, oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. So thank you. So yeah, I had kick-ass dad Christmas. I got a bottle of Jameson, which is good. I use more booze. Yeah, thank you. Bottle of Jameson and nose hair clippers. I crushed it on Christmas. So back to our Gladiator story. So I say, one of the things is he's got to watch movies with me for Christmas. I get 5. The other thing is 5 movies. I get 5 movies. You got to sit and you got to watch 5 movies with me. Not all at once, spread out over the course of the year, but 5 movies. We already knocked off like 2 of them too. We did one Friday, we did one Saturday. So on Sunday night, I'm like, okay, dude, well, guess what? Well, I'm going to make you watch Gladiator as one of my 5 movies. So we're going to watch Gladiator. And he goes, all right, now it's 9:30 at night when I introduced the idea of watching Gladiator. Gladiator is a 3-hour movie. I say, kid, it's a 3-hour movie. He's like, 3 hours? I go, yeah, it's 3 hours. He's like, okay. He's like, but wait. Do we need to do it right now? Let me just watch a video really quick. He's got his headphones. He's got his phone. He's on YouTube. He's watching videos. And I'm like, okay, you watch your video real quick. By the way, how long is the video? He goes, 48 minutes. I'm like, no. We are not going to wait 48 minutes. It is 9:30 p.m. We are not going to wait 48 minutes before we even hit play on this 3-hour Ridley Scott epic, okay? No. You're not getting far. I thought you were going to say like 10, 15 minutes. That I can handle. So that turns into a huge fight. He's like, God, just you don't get to die. And I'm like, shut up. That's pretty much how our fights go. So he goes downstairs. He storms off. He's a little bitch. He's like, he storms off downstairs, slamming doors. Comes back like 10 minutes later, like nothing happened. And, it's my job as, me, to acknowledge his attempt at pretending like nothing has happened. So we just act like nothing happened. We're like, yeah, we just had a huge fight, but now we're good again. So we sit down and we start watching Gladiator. By the way, it was only like 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't like 48 minutes, but he was like, yeah, I guess that is a crazy ask. He was like, it's kind of crazy of me to ask. He said this. He goes, it's kind of crazy to ask for an hour. I'm like, it was crazy. So then I say to him, look, man, you are getting twisted at the idea of this film Gladiator, starring Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Ridley Scott from 2000. You are getting too twisted in this being a 3-hour film, okay? Don't worry about it being 3 hours. There isn't anybody in this world who knows you who thinks that you are going to make it 25 minutes before you're sound asleep. What does that mean? And I said to him, look, you're 15. I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything that you do. You are an academic superstar. You are ranked in the top 5 of your class. You get straight A's. I'm so proud of you. I know I have no complaints in that area. I brag about you all the time. But when it comes to an attention span, you fucking suck. You suck. You are just like TikTok video. A 3-hour Ridley Scott film set in ancient Rome must to him sound like me being forced to copy the phone book, which is something I had to do once when I got in trouble in school. I mean, it must sound terrible. And I'm like, dude, you're never going to make 3 hours. You are never going to make 3 hours. And then so we start watching it and he's liking it. And you know why he's liking it? Because it's fucking Gladiator. Because it's a great movie. Because it's a really good film. And so he's liking it. And right at around 25 minutes, and I don't know if he did this on purpose. I don't know if it just timed out this way. But right around 25 minutes, he turns to me and he goes, Dad, I'm not going to make it. I want to go to sleep. He goes, but can we continue watching this tomorrow? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and knock out another 25 minutes of Gladiator. We're watching Ridley Scott's 2000 film Gladiator like they're half-hour episodes. like it's a Max, like it's an HBO Max series. And there's like 10 of them. We're just going to watch 10 25-minute episodes. Whatever. 2 things about the film Gladiator that I'd like to mention from the very beginning. 1, let's call it 3 things. 1, didn't remember that Richard Harris, Sir Richard Harris, didn't remember that he played Marcus Aurelius. Didn't remember that. 2, Joaquin Phoenix has always been a dick. I just don't like him. I think the reason I don't like Joaquin Phoenix and why I think the Joker, not just Joker Folie à Deux, which everybody, is like, that movie sucks. Everybody's in it. The Joker, the original Joker film that everybody was like, it's so good. That movie sucks. You guys are nuts. That movie sucks. Okay, it doesn't suck. It's interesting, and it's a good movie. It ain't that great though. It ain't like awesome. The Joker was transcendent. No, it wasn't. It was a parody of King of Comedy. Martin Scorsese did it 25 years earlier. 40 years earlier, King of Comedy. The whole fucking premise of the Joker is based on Rupert Pumpkin, the character from King of Comedy. My God. Anyway, point is this. I think I've discovered that the reason I don't like Joaquin Phoenix is because of him as Commodus. Commodus was an asshole in Gladiator. Also, another fun fact. Why is it so dark all of a sudden now? Why am I so dark? Look at how dark I am. Change that. Oh, it's because of the background. I need to go. I need to get going. Look at that. Now I'm beautiful again. But now you can't see the background. All right. So we're going to watch Gladiator tonight. What else? Oh, yeah. The other fun fact about Gladiator. Connie Nielsen. You guys remember her? When she Drusilla? I think she played Drusilla or Lucinda. I don't know, one of the Drusilla, I think it was. Connie Nielsen. She was the hot chick in Gladiator. Did you even remember there was a hot chick? There was, and she's wonderful. Why didn't her career take off? Connie Nielsen was kind of famous for like 18 months, and then it was like, okay, never mind. But man, she's a scrumptious little snack, as the kids say. All right, that's going to do it, folks. We're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. I appreciate you letting me hang out, talking about all the day's news and information. Pour one out for Linda Lavin. Pour one out for Greg Gumbel. Pour one out for a great man, Jimmy Carter. Nice guy. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do a whole year in review. And like, if there is like big news stories that I want to riff on, we'll do that as well tomorrow. But tomorrow's show is going to be, it's going to be a lot of like, hey, remember this story? Like, you know, the biggest stories from the year. I got nothing else. So I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna back away in shame.